Chapter 686. Another failure. It wasn't easy for them to make it to the First People's Hospital. Wang Shubin and Zhu Xiaozhang also started sneezing, but it wasn't too serious. They supported Kang Xiaoming, who couldn't even stand up, into the hospital. They rushed to the floor where Guan Xan worked and found her in the nurse's office. Achoo! Kang Mingming sneezed as soon as he entered the room. Guan Xan, who was preparing medicine, jumped in fright. She turned around and saw Kang Mingming walking in with two other people supporting him. She was surprised. "Why are you here again?" "Guan Xan, I'm here to see a doctor." Kang Mingming felt like he finally found a reason to talk to Guan Xan. He was excited. "I have a cold. Can you give me a shot?" "Did you register? Did you see a doctor? Do you have a doctor's advice?" Guan Xan furrowed her eyebrows. She didn't understand why Kang Xiaoming was so sick after going out for a walk. It seemed to be very serious. But whether he was sick or not, Guan Xan couldn't give him a shot. How could she give him a shot without a doctor's advice? "Ah, I still need to see a doctor? Look at me, I'm going to die if I don't get a shot." Kang Mingming was stunned. He suddenly remembered the procedure of going to the hospital to see a doctor. It was all his fault for having a fever. He was confused, and his brain wasn't working. But why didn't Zhu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubing remind him? They didn't have a fever. Why were they so stupid? He couldn't help but glare at Zhu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubing. But in front of Guan Xan, Kang Mingming couldn't scold them directly. This was Kang Mingming's wish. Zhu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubing were young masters. When they were in the capital, they didn't even need to register for a doctor, especially with Kang Mingming's relationship with Dr. Kang's family. No matter which hospital they went to, they would have someone they knew. They could just find someone they knew to give them the shots and medicine. They didn't even need to register for a doctor. Nurse Guan Xan, Master Ming's condition is serious and urgent. We didn't have time to register. Why don't you see him first, and I'll go register?" Wang Shubing quickly said. "Then you should go to the doctor too. Without a doctor's advice, I can't just use the medicine." Guan Xan said, "Since it's so serious, why don't you bring him to the doctor first?" "Ugh, actually it's like this. I don't know anyone in this hospital. I don't know anyone, and I'm afraid that they'll slander me." Kang Xiaoming suddenly had an idea. "Look at how luxurious this hospital is. They must have taken a lot of money from the people. If I don't know anyone in this hospital, I wouldn't dare to do it. You're my only acquaintance. Please help me." Kang Mingming was very proud of his wit. This reason was very reasonable. Nowadays, many newspapers and news were reporting on the shady dealings of the hospital. He wasn't spouting nonsense. It was also very reasonable. Just as Kang Mingming was feeling good about himself, Guan Xan's face darkened. "Our hospital system is very clear and we have a clear fee. We can't cheat you, and all of our doctors have medical licenses. There's no way they'll kill you." "That's hard to say. Even if the price is clearly marked, there will still be under-the-table manipulation." Kang Mingming's mind was still muddled, and he didn't notice Guan Xan's displeasure. He continued to speak in a self-righteous tone. "These hospital bosses are all black-hearted. I'm really worried about them. My dad's not evil." Guan Xan glared at Kang Mingming before turning around and ignoring him. "Huh." Kang Mingming froze when he heard Guan Xan's words. Then he suddenly realized what was going on. Guan Xan's father, Guan Xiaoxiang, was Guan Xueming's son? And Guan Xueming's youngest son, Guan Xan's father, was a shareholder of this hospital. It's over, it's really over. Wasn't he pointing at the mulberry tree and scolding the locust tree? Wouldn't Guan Xan hate him to death now? Last time, he called her grandfather a liar, and this time her father a black-hearted boss. What the hell? Was there any way to salvage the situation? Kang Mingming almost fainted on the spot. Not to mention the awkwardness. It seemed that the flu and fever were really harmful. If one's mind wasn't clear, one's words were easily incoherent. Guan Xan, don't be angry, that's not what I meant. I'm not saying that your dad is black-hearted. I'm just scared of some black-hearted businessmen. Kong Mingming quickly explained, I have a cold and a fever. My mind isn't clear, so I'm talking nonsense. You can't be calculative with a sick person, right? If you're sick, then go see the doctor. I need to work. Guan Xan understood Kong Mingming's thoughts. If it wasn't for the fact that Kong Mingming wanted to pursue her, he wouldn't have come to her. But Guan Xan didn't like him, so she wouldn't give him a chance. Kong Xiaoming didn't want to pester Guan Xan to accompany him anymore. He glanced at Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhang, signaling them to bring him to the registration counter. After all, he could always ask Guan Xan for the injection after he got the doctor's order. Not long after Kong Mingming left, Kong Xiaobo came looking for him. Kong Xiaobo didn't know anyone in the hospital, so it was more convenient to bring Xiaofan to the doctor. He met Guan Xan through Lin Yi last time, and he knew that she was Guan Xuemin's granddaughter. Kong Xiaobo naturally had a good relationship with her. Guan Xan was also happy to be friends with Kong Xiaobo. Why? Guan Xan didn't know. Was it because he was Lin Yi's good friend? However, Guan Xan still felt a little awkward when she saw Tang Yin beside Kong Xiaobo. It seemed that her little thoughts didn't escape the beautiful girl's eyes. Guan Xan, I brought Xiaofan here for a follow-up. Are you busy? Can you take us there? Kong Xiaobo asked with a smile after entering the nurse's office. Of course, let me finish what I'm doing. Guan Xan was preparing some medicine for external injuries. She needed to send it to the ward, so she had to prepare it before she could do anything else. Then I'll have to trouble you. Kong Xiaobo nodded gratefully. Sometimes the doctor wouldn't be in the room, so if Kong Xiaobo brought Xiaofan to the doctor, he might not be able to find her. It's fine, what trouble? Guan Xan shook her head. You guys take a seat first. I still need to prepare for a while. Okay, you go ahead. Kong Xiaobo pulled Xiaofan to sit on the sofa, and Tang Yin was a little nervous. As a girl, her intuition told her that there was something between Lin Yi and Guan Xan. Chapter 687. Chapter 687. Spoiling a good thing as long as she didn't cross the line, she wouldn't care about her, right? From Tang Yin's point of view, her current love rival was Mississippi. As for Guan Xan, she didn't seem to be a love rival at all. Guan Xan prepared the medicine for a few rooms and personally delivered it over. She returned to the nurse's office and spoke to Kong Xiaobo and the others. I'm done. We can bring Xiaofan to the follow-up. All right, shall we go now? Kong Xiaobo stood up. No need. I'll bring Xiaofan there. You don't need to follow. Guan Xan didn't want Kong Xiaobo to follow. Xiaofan's mental illness was caused by another man, and the doctor might ask some sensitive questions during the follow-up. It would be awkward if Kong Xiaobo heard it, so Guan Xan decided not to bring Kong Xiaobo. That's fine. I'll have to trouble you then. Kong Xiaobo wasn't stupid. He could guess the situation from Guan Xan's expression, so he didn't insist. Xiaofan was grateful for Guan Xan's understanding. She actually didn't want Kong Xiaobo to follow because the doctor wanted to understand the whole situation. Sometimes the questions would be awkward. They would even ask how many times she slept with Kong Mingming. It wasn't something that Kong Xiaobo should hear. Tang Yin could feel Guan Xan's understanding. It was hard for a girl like her to not attract boys, but what could she do? She couldn't ask Lin Yi not to meet her, could she? Tang Yin was conflicted. She finally fell in love with him. But why was it so bumpy? She thought that with her looks, it wouldn't be hard to find a boy who would treat her well, wholeheartedly. She was satisfied that he treated her well, but the girls around him were all better than her. Some of them were even better than her. She didn't know how to deal with this at all. She had no experience at all. Tang Yun sighed softly as she watched Guan Xan leave. Why was she so unlucky? Her competitors were so strong. How could she feel at ease? Xin Wen patted Tang Yun's shoulder, noticing her disappointment. What's wrong? You're conflicted again? When did I? How could Tang Yun admit it? How could she show weakness in front of her good friend? You're still denying it? Ever since I saw Guan Xan, I felt like something's wrong with you. Xin Wen understood Tang Yun quite well. Speaking of which, Yun, how far have you and Lin Yi progressed? Tell me the truth. How far can it go? We're just high school students, okay? At most, we'll hold hands, right? Tang Yin was a little shy, but she attributed the lack of progress between her and Lin Yi to the fact that she was still in school. High school? They've had sex since middle school, right? Are you okay, Yun? Have you ever gone online before? A few days ago at Fatty Lai's house, you were talking so much, but it was all a lie. Xin Wen was a little disappointed. Aren't they lying too? I don't believe that they'd dare to play 3P with Lin Yi. Tang Yin felt wronged. If it weren't for Meng Yao and Yushu, she wouldn't have said so many shameless things. I'm not sure about Meng Yao, but that Yushu, it's possible. She looks like she's eager to try. Xin Wen was a good judge of character. I'm telling you, Yun, you have to keep a close eye on Lin Yi, or you won't be able to find a place to cry. How can I stop him if he wants to be with someone else? Tang Yin shook her head. She was full of uncertainty about the future. I really don't know what to say. With your personality, you'll suffer sooner or later. You won't even know when they sleep with Lin Yi. Xin Wen said helplessly. She was disappointed that Tang Yin didn't meet her expectations. What can I do if he wants to sleep with them? Tang Yin seemed to be asking Xin Wen, but it also seemed like she was asking herself. But after asking, Tang Yin shook her head. She didn't want to think about it anymore. These things were too troublesome. Kong Xiaobo couldn't interrupt their conversation. He could only sit on the side and pretend he didn't hear anything. This was School Beauty Tang, after all. Xiaobo had never thought that School Beauty Tang would be so worried about a man. His boss was too amazing. Zhu Xiaozhang helped Kong Mingming register downstairs and rushed to the clinic. Wang Shubing and Kong Mingming were already waiting there. There were many people registering at this hospital, but Zhu Xiaozhang was amazing. He directly cut the queue. When people criticized him, he was arrogant enough to hit them. This made the people who criticized him shut up. After all, Zhu Xiaozhang was fat, big, and tall. Who would want to mess with him? If he wanted to cut the queue, then so be it. Zhu Xiaozhang didn't feel ashamed at all. Instead, he felt proud. He felt that this was the only way he could live up to his nickname of arrogant. Bro Kong Mingming went to see the doctor. His illness was simple. It was a common cold caused by a cold. The doctor prescribed a medicine, but Kong Mingming insisted on staying in the hospital. Actually, he didn't have to stay in the hospital due to his illness, but the doctor saw that his fever was very serious and he insisted on staying in the hospital, so he gave him 3 days of hospitalization. Kong Xiaoming looked very rich anyways, so the doctor didn't plan on saving money for him. Kong Mingming took the doctor's order and happily went to find Guan Xan for an injection. This caused Kong Mingming a lot of trouble. In fact, he could go to any general surgery nurse's duty room and treatment room with the doctor's order. But he was here for Guan Xan, so naturally he wanted to find her. Master Ming, you have to hold on. We're almost at Guan Xan's floor. Hold on a little longer. Wang Shubing saw that Kong Mingming's legs were weak from the fever. He couldn't even walk properly, so he quickly cheered him on. Okay, I'll hold on. Kong Xiaoming gritted his teeth and insisted on going upstairs. Just as he was about to reach Guan Xan's nurse's room, he saw Guan Xan and another girl walking out from the nurse's room. The girl beside Guan Xan, however, made Kong Xiaoming freeze. He subconsciously stopped in his tracks. Master Ming, isn't that Xiaofan? How come she's with Guan Xan? Zhu Xiaozhang also saw Xiaofan and Guan Xan walk out together. He was a bit confused. Yeah, How does she know Guan Xan? Wang Shubing was also puzzled. Damn, I remember now. Kong Xiaobo seemed to know Guan Xueming last time. Then it's not strange that Xiao Fin knows Guan Xueming's granddaughter. Kong Mingming's mind finally worked, but he guessed wrong. Xiao Fuan and Guan Xan didn't know each other through Guan Xueming. Makes sense. Zhu Xiaozhang nodded, but this is troublesome. Should we go or not? Chapter 688. A ticking time bomb, Master Ming. I don't think it's a problem if we go or not. It's already very troublesome. Wang Shubing shook his head and said seriously, Guan Xan and Xiao Fin know each other. This isn't easy. What do you mean? Even if she knows Guan Xan, she can't be with Guan Xan all the time. Can't she just avoid her? Kong Mingming asked curiously. You can't just avoid her. Master Ming, think about it. What if Xiao Fin spouts nonsense and tells her about what happened between you two? Do you think Guan Xan's impression of you would be good? What chance do you have? Wang Shubing was indeed a schemer. He considered the problem from all angles. Kong, Xiaoming frowned at Wang Shubin's words. He wasn't wrong. Xiao Fin was like a ticking time bomb by Guan Xan's side. Who knew when it would explode with a bang and blow him up into a bloody mess? If that's the case, then this Xiao Fun is indeed a big problem. Kong Mingming hated Xiao Fun. Why was this bitch so good at causing trouble? Ever since he met her again, things haven't been going well for the Kong family. Now that he was pursuing Guan Xan, he couldn't let Xiao Fun ruin it. Thinking about this, Kong Mingming's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. Should we find a chance to kill her? Kong Xiaoming may look like a playful young master on the surface, but he was a bad person at heart. He had done many things like murder and arson without batting an eyelid. When he was in middle school, he dared to plot to kill Xiao Fun. Now he was even worse. I think it's a good idea. She's lucky that we didn't kill her last time. Now, she's not staying at home and acting like a mental patient. I think she's looking for death. Zhu Xiaozhang was also a ruthless person. He immediately agreed with Kong Mingming's suggestion. I think we should forget about it. Wang Shubing hesitated. Killing her isn't a good idea. Wang Shubing, when did you become such a coward? Weren't you the one who found the car when we planned to kill Xiao Fin? Zhu Xiaozhang looked at Wang Shubing strangely. Don't tell me you're getting more and more convoluted. Little Zhang, listen to what Wang Shubing has to say. Kong Mingming still cared about Wang Shubin's suggestion. After all, Wang Shubin's brain wasn't bad. He must have his reasons for saying this. Young Master Ming, Kong Xiaobo's friend, Lin Yi, is AF * King Lunatic, a complete violent maniac. Wang Shubin was a little scared. We all know that Tang Yin was injured by Zhao Qibing, right? On the day of Zhao Qibing's completion ceremony, Lin Yi demolished the skyscraper and broke Zhao Qibing's leg. Damn it, we'd better not provoke this kind of person. But Xiao Fin isn't Tang Yin. How can Lin Yi handle this? Zhu Xiaozhang was a little scared, but he still tried to defend himself. Xiao Fuan is Kong Xiaobo's girlfriend now. If we kill her and it gets exposed, Kong Xiaobo will ask Lin Yi for revenge. It's better to be safe than sorry. If Lin Yi comes, we'll all be dead. Wang Shubing shook his head. That makes sense. Although Kong Mingming was a bad person, he was afraid of death. When he heard that Lin Yi might come for revenge, he immediately gave up on the idea of killing Xiao Fin. It was better not to provoke this kind of violent maniac. How did Lin Yi survive until now? Zhao Qibing seemed to have a lot of power. Why didn't he go after Lin Yi? That's why, young Master Ming, we need to discuss our strategy carefully. How can we solve this problem once and for all? Wang Shubing said. Then what should I do now? Kong Mingming suddenly thought of a very serious problem. When he saw Xiao Fun, he almost forgot that he had a cold. We can only find another nurse now. Guan Xan is out of the question. Wang Shubing said helplessly. Damn, I caught a cold for nothing. Kong Xiaoming almost fainted on the spot. He had endured so much pain and almost died. It was only with great difficulty that he managed to catch a cold, but now he couldn't get Guan Xan to give him an injection. Young Master Ming, you have to think about it this way. If Xiaofan came when we were looking for Guan Xan, wouldn't we be exposed? Wang Shubing comforted. If that happens, we'll still be able to benefit from a disaster. Now that you put it that way, is it? Kong Ming thought about it carefully. It was true. He should be happy. If Guan Xan hadn't rejected him and had given him the shot, wouldn't he have been exposed in a heartbeat? Thinking about this, Kong Ming was happy again. It seemed like God was supporting him in pursuing Xiaofan. With Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhang accompanying him, Kong Ming came to a general surgery treatment room. He gave the doctor's advice to a young and beautiful nurse. Kong Ming thought that even if he didn't have Guan Xan to give him the injection, it would be good to find a beautiful girl, big eyes and oval face, and skin that glowed like a spirit. Kong Ming drooled when he saw her. It was a uniform temptation. Such a beautiful girl. It would be a waste for her to be a nurse here. Kong Xiaoming's mind started to move. He had flirted with a lot of girls in the past few years, but there weren't many of the best quality ones. Xiaofan was one of the top quality ones. If it wasn't for the fact that she was too infatuated with him and wanted to marry him, Kong Xiaoming wouldn't have dumped her so quickly. However, in Kong Ming's eyes, the nurse in front of him was of the highest quality. She was much better than Xiaofan. Although she wasn't that tall, she was just right. The key was her figure. Even the white gown couldn't hide her exquisite figure. Kong Ming's LSD was acting up again. However, when he thought about how his main task was to flirt with Guan Xan, Kong Ming became discouraged again. He could only give up on this beautiful nurse. However, Guan Xan was also of the highest quality, so it wasn't too bad. Just as Kong Ming passed the doctor's advice to the nurse, she turned around and passed it to a tall and sturdy woman. Nurse Wang, there's a patient. Okay. The sturdy woman called Nurse Wang took the doctor's advice and looked at Kong Ming. It's a cold. First do an allergy test, then give it a muscle injection. If there's nothing else, you can start the drip. You're going to give it to me? Kong Ming saw that the sturdy woman was about to give him the injection. He was a bit anxious. He was looking for a beautiful nurse. Why was it a sturdy woman? Chapter 689. Not dead yet. I want her to do it for me. Kong Ming pointed at the beautiful nurse and said, Oh, then let her do it for you. The woman put down her work and walked out of the treatment room. Seeing Kong Ming's lecherous look, she was annoyed. Did this guy come to the hospital for treatment or to look at beauties? What the hell? How dare he let someone else do it? I hope it won't kill you. Kong Ming saw that the nurse agreed and was overjoyed. He said to the beautiful nurse, Why don't you do it for me? It's my first day here. I can't do it. The beautiful nurse waved her hands, but seeing Kong Ming's pleading eyes, she said, Why don't I try? If it can't go in, I can do it a few more times. Kong Ming was hoping that the nurse would do it for him, but when he heard what the nurse said, his heart went cold. First day here? Trying to prick it? What kind of joke was this? He was not a test subject. What if he died? What's wrong? The beautiful nurse looked at Kong Ming strangely. No, nothing. I'll go and find Nurse Wang. Although Kong Ming was a bit lascivious, he would never joke around with his life for a girl. But Nurse Wang went to the inpatient department. She won't be back for a while. The beautiful nurse looked at Kong Ming with a troubled expression. Why don't I try it for you? Is that all right? My technique is still very good, and I've practiced on dead people before. No need. Kong Ming Ming was shocked. What the hell? You've practiced on dead people before. If I let you do it, I'll probably become a dead person too. This beautiful nurse looked very beautiful with big eyes and big breasts, but she was a tiger. Was she not afraid of stabbing people to death? How could she give injections a try? Kong Ming Ming didn't want to be killed, so he quickly stood up and forced a smile. There's no need. Is there another treatment room nearby? Oh, there is. Turn left and take the elevator. It's on the second floor underground. The beautiful nurse thought for a moment and said, But it's a little far. You look like you're going to faint. Shall I give you an injection? There's no need. I'm very awake. I won't faint for a while. Kong Ming Ming waved his hand and left the nurse's treatment room with Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong. They ran in the direction of the elevator, cursing as they ran. What kind of *T hospital was this? The intern nurses were too immoral. How dare they use patients for experiments? Young Master Ming, can you do it? Should we rest for a bit? Wang Shubing saw that Kong Ming Ming's head was heavy, so he quickly asked, I'm fine. Let's go get the injection. If I knew this would happen, I would have asked that tough lady to do it for me. I'm so *King unlucky. Kong Ming Ming thought that he was unlucky every time he met Xiao Fin. It seemed like it was true. The three of them entered the elevator. The lady in charge of the elevator looked at Kong Ming Ming and asked, Which floor do we go to? This is the staircase downstairs. Let's go downstairs too, to the second floor underground. Wang Shubing said to the lady. In his heart he thought, What kind of plan is this hospital? The treatment rooms aren't all together. They're all over the place, and this one is in the basement. The lady looked at the three of them strangely, but she still pressed the button for the second floor underground. When the elevator reached the first floor, everyone on the elevator went down. Only Kong Ming Ming and the other two were left. Kong Ming Ming felt strange. Why didn't anyone go to the basement? When the elevator reached the second floor underground, the elevator door opened. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong helped Kong Ming Ming out of the elevator. They couldn't help but feel a wave of cold air hit them in the face. The three of them couldn't help but shiver. What entered their nostrils was the smell of decay and medicine. The light in the corridor was very dim. *CK. What the hell is this place? How come there's no one here? Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but curse. Wang Shubing also felt strange. When he raised his head, he was shocked. He subconsciously took 2 steps back. He was still supporting Kong Ming Ming. When he stepped back, Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but stumble. Kong Ming Ming couldn't help but curse. What are you doing? Do you want to kill me? Master Ming, here. Zhu Xiaozhong raised his head and also noticed something was wrong. Only Kong Ming Ming couldn't lift his head. What's wrong? If you have something to say, spit it out. Kong Ming Ming said impatiently, Hurry up and look. Where can I get an injection? Master Ming, you can't get an injection here. Zhu Xiaozhong said, Can't get an injection? Kong Ming Ming was stunned. What do you mean? This is the place to give injections to the dead. Zhu Xiaozhong pointed in front of them and said in a panic, Master Ming, this is the morgue. What? Kong Ming Ming heard Zhu Xiaozhong's words and suddenly jumped. He raised his head and looked. Wasn't that right? The words morgue were written in big letters. Under the dim light of the corridor, it looked especially eerie. Gotcha! Just as the three of them were panicking, a sound came from the door of the morgue. Run! Kong Ming Ming also forgot that he was a patient. He didn't know where he got the strength to turn around and rush out of the elevator. He madly pressed the elevator button, but the elevator had already gone up more than 10 floors. It would take a while for the elevator to descend. Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong were also nervous, although they reminded themselves in their hearts, how could there be a ghost in broad daylight? However, the atmosphere here was indeed eerie. It made their hearts beat faster for no reason. The door of the morgue slowly opened, and a morgue cart slowly slid out from the small door of the morgue. Kong Ming Ming heard the sound and turned around. He suddenly fainted. His body was already weak, and with the addition of fright, how could he stand it? On the other hand, Wang Shubing and Zhu Shaozhang, although scared, were relieved when they saw what was behind the morgue cart. A little old man was pushing the mortuary cart towards the elevator. The lights were dim, and the old man was short. Naturally, people would think that the mortuary cart was moving on its own. The old man also saw Wang Shubing and Zhu Shaozhang, but when he saw Kong Ming Ming on the ground, he immediately asked, "Another one died? Why did you guys send him here yourself? Where's the doctor?" Chapter 690. Change your name, okay? Wrong direction? The old man shook his head and ignored the three of them. He continued to wait for the elevator. Kong Xiaoming fainted on the spot. He didn't know what fear was, but Zhu Shaozhang and Wang Shubin were scared out of their wits. They were standing next to a corpse. How could they not be scared? After Kong Ming Ming and the other two left, the beautiful nurse took out 3 big wallets from her white coat and opened them. She couldn't help but smile instantly, and her eyes curved into the shape of a crescent moon. "I didn't expect these 3 perverts to be so rich. This is what you get for being lecherous. I'll send you to the morgue." The beautiful nurse quickly took out the money from the wallet and put it in her pocket. Then she threw the 3 wallets out of the window. After a while, Nurse Wang came back with a swaddle in her hand. Seeing that Kong Ming Ming and the other 2 people were gone, she asked curiously, "Where are they?" Nurse Wang saw that Kong Ming Ming was a little unreliable, so she wanted to teach him a lesson. Anyway, he wouldn't die from a cold. So she deliberately went out to do other things. She planned to give them an injection when she came back, but when she came back, she found that Kong Ming Ming was gone. Maybe he couldn't wait and went to another place to get an injection? The beautiful nurse pretended not to know. She skipped over and took the swaddle from Nurse Wang's hands. She looked at it and said, "Wow, it's a cute princess." Yeah, these parents are really cruel. They just left him in the hospital. The parents also left a fake name. The police can't find any information. Nurse Wang sighed. "It's all thanks to your orphanage. Otherwise, I don't know what to do with the abandoned babies in the hospital. They value men more than women." The baby girl in the beautiful nurse's hands seemed to be able to understand words. Hearing that her parents didn't want her, she couldn't help but cry. The beautiful nurse hurriedly coaxed the child. Don't cry, little baby. Big sister Xiao will take you to your new home. There are many big brothers and sisters, little darling. Big sister Xiao will buy milk powder for you later." The beautiful nurse's voice was very pleasant, as if she was born to coax these children. When the baby girl heard the beautiful nurse's words, she stopped crying. The beautiful nurse shook her eyebrows for a while, and the baby girl fell into a deep sleep. Xiao Ku, head nurse son from the obstetrics and gynecology department, is on leave today, so you don't have to look for her. Why don't you just take the child home? The procedures are here. I've already done it for you. Nurse Wang handed a folder to the beautiful nurse. "Thank you, Nurse Wang. Then I'll go first." The beautiful nurse took the child's file and thanked him with a smile. "What are you thanking me for? Our hospital has to thank you. Otherwise, we don't know what to do with these children." Nurse Wang waved her hand. "And then I'll go first." The beautiful nurse took off her white coat and returned it to Nurse Wang. "Here, the air conditioning in this room is quite cold. I'm used to a house without air conditioning, so I'm really not used to it." Nurse Wang shook her head, took the white coat, and sent the beautiful nurse away. Lin left the hospital, stopped a taxi, and went back to the villa first. There was nothing to do in the hospital. Miss probably didn't want to see him now. After all, the situation before was too embarrassing. Lin was a little regretful. It would have been better to find a random male student to force the poison out. However, he didn't have full confidence that he could concoct the antidote for the poison. He couldn't take the risk. If he had to choose again, he would still save Miss first. As for whether the others could be cured or not, it really didn't have much to do with Lin Yi. Deadly 7 herbs poison, a poison that had been lost in history, actually appeared here. Although Lin Yi didn't say anything when he was in the hospital, he had to report this news to the old man as soon as possible. There was still someone who knew about this poison? Which faction sent him here? This incident was obviously not random. It was premeditated. Was it targeted at Chu Pingzhan or Meng Yao? Lin Yi didn't know about these. He had to ask Lingshan to know the details. He could call Lingshan in the car, but calling the old man was a bit secretive. Lin Yi had to go home first. Miss Braindead, is there any result on the poisoning? Lin Yi called Lingshan. Lingshan was so angry that she clenched her teeth. Why did he call her Miss Braindead again? She thought he stopped calling her that. This title doesn't sound good, okay? Although Lingshan tried very hard to treat it as a nickname or pet name that Lin Yi called her, she couldn't do it. Lin Yi, we're already like this. Can you not call me Miss Braindead in the future? Lingshan wanted to protest, but she had to think of a countermeasure. Protesting directly to Lin Yi obviously wouldn't work. But Lingshan knew that Lin Yi's weakness was soft-heartedness. If she said it nicely, it might work. Okay, then what should I call you? Tigress? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, you can call her Lil, Song Girl, or Cute Girl, that's fine too. Tigress Girl sounds too bad. Lingshan realized that Lin Yi was more interested in the XX Girl combination and didn't dare change it too much. She suggested 2 nicknames that she could accept. Oh, then I'll call you Little Dumb Girl. Lin Yi didn't take Lingshan's answer. Okay. Lingshan gritted her teeth. Little Dumb Girl it is. At least it sounded better than Miss Braindead, right? Although the meaning was similar, it didn't sound as insulting. Things had to be done step by step, didn't they? Rome wasn't built in a day. Lingshan felt that if she worked hard, she could definitely become Cute Girl or something. Lingshan couldn't help but feel disgusted by her own thoughts. Was she a bitch? Satisfied just like that? And she was hoping that Lin Yi would call her Cute Girl? If this matter were to spread out, how could anyone live? But, other than being a little angry, Lingshan didn't feel any repulsion at all. Little Dumb Girl, is there any result for the poisoning? Lin Yi asked. Chapter 691. Chapter 691. The Hidden Family, however. Lingshan didn't know that Lin Yi was the one who discovered the poison, and Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was just a spokesperson. Zhong Pingliang. Lin Yi paused. How did this have anything to do with Zhong Pingliang? This kid had lost his kidney, and he still came out to poison people? Yes, but Zhong Pingliang is also a victim. We decided to exempt him from punishment. Of course, I don't agree with it personally, but I can't decide the final result, Lingshan said faintly. She didn't have a good impression of Fabai and his son, but I heard that there are people protecting Zhong Pingliang from above. I think he's been hanging out with Zhao Qibing recently. I understand. Lin Yi finally understood who was the mastermind behind this. If there were no accidents, it should be Zhao Qibing, and other than Uncle Zhu, there were other masters behind him. Is there anything else? I helped you. Aren't you going to treat Miss Braindead for a meal? Lingshan had gotten used to calling herself Miss Braindead in front of Lin Yi, and she almost said it out loud. What was wrong with her mouth? She wanted to be Miss Braindead? You got it wrong, right? Lin Yi realized that Lingshan and the Miss were 2 different types of people. They both had their bodies seen, and they'd both seen embarrassing things, but Lingshan had gotten a lot closer to him all of a sudden, while the Miss was a lot colder. Then I can treat you, Lingshan said. Come to my house next Saturday. I don't have time, Lin Yi said faintly, rejecting her directly. Lin Yi felt that Miss Song was very pretty and very seductive. It would be nice to have something happen with her, right? But the consequences… He was already annoyed enough right now. If she got closer to him, he wouldn't be able to do anything else if she came looking for him. Oh, next time then. Ling Shan was a little disappointed. Lin Yi really didn't seem to be interested in her at all. Her seduction had failed. Lin Yi's guess was right. Ling Shan really did see Lin Yi as a sucker. She'd already seen it, and she'd gotten the short end of the stick. There was nothing she could do about it, so she might as well ask Lin Yi for help. Ling Shan wanted Lin Yi to solve all the cases in the police force, like the burglary group, the motorcycle gang, and so on. These organizations have been around for a long time, and it was hard to take them all out at once. But Ling Shan still had some hopes. His current momentum was very good. If he continued to develop like this, it would not be a dream to be promoted to bureau chief. How long had he been in office? He had solved so many big cases in a row. The current Ling Shan was much more at ease than before. She thought that since she'd been seen by Lin Yi, she could be considered Lin Yi's girl. He'd help her solve the cases. What burden would she have? Lin Yi hung up the phone, feeling a bit of a headache. He'd saved Ling Shan, and now this Miss Song had learned how to pester him endlessly. She was much smarter than before. After returning to the villa, Lin Yi called old Lin. There was no one in the villa, so Lin Yi didn't need to hide from anyone. Old man, someone used deadly 7 herbs poison here. Oh, old Lin paused. After a while he asked, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I'm sure. I tasted it," Lin Yi said. "Could it be that those people came out again?" Old Lin said uncertainly. "Who?" Lin Yi asked. "People from the hidden house," Old Lin said. "Hidden house? I've heard of the 4 big and 5 small noble houses, but I've never heard of any hidden house. What do they do?" Lin Yi paused. The 4 big and 5 small noble houses are just some noble houses that formed later in the common world. They can't be compared to the hidden houses at all, Old Lin said, but I don't know much about the hidden houses. Your master knows more than me, because he was one of the people involved back then. According to the agreement from more than 10 years ago, some ancient martial arts houses need to live in seclusion. Otherwise, their appearance will destroy a lot of the current order. Oh, my master? Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect his master to be related to the hidden houses. Among these hidden houses, there's a medical family, Yunan's House Yu. Although they're proficient in medicine, they're best at using it to harm people. They're also very good at goo. Old Lin said, but according to the agreement, House Yu doesn't allow their disciples to walk in the common world. They can only serve the big and hidden houses. You're saying that this house knows the recipe of deadly 7 herbs poison? Lin Yi asked with a frown. It's possible, but I'm not sure. Old Lin said, you should pay attention to this matter first, but don't worry about it. With your current strength, you can't reach that level. They don't dare to violate the agreement from back then. Otherwise, your master wouldn't be able to ignore it. Okay, I got it. Since Old Lin had said so, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't continue asking. Although his current strength was enough to roam the common world, he wouldn't be able to do anything to those hidden monsters. Is there anything else? Oh, right, I've already given the medicine you asked Ergun to get, but this kid is busy with spring plowing. He'll have to wait for a few days, Old Lin said. This is not urgent, Lin Yi said. Oh, right. Do you know about the Wanyankin box? Lin Yi suddenly remembered the Wanyankin box he got at the auction, but he didn't know what it was used for. After coming back from the auction, he had been busy with all kinds of things. He also forgot about the box until now. Wanyankin box? I've heard of this before. There's an introduction in an ancient book at home. Old Lin thought about it and said, Why do you ask? I think I have one with me. Lin Yi said, What? Old Lin was shocked. You have it? How did you get it? You actually have something that can only appear in ancient books? I got it by chance at an auction. He didn't expect old Lin to have such a big reaction. Could it be that this Wanyankin box was really special? So he asked, Old man, is this thing good? How can it not be good when it's mentioned in ancient books? Old Lin asked back. Oh, then this Wanyankin box, what is it used for? Lin Yi's curiosity was also piqued, and he quickly asked, I really don't know what it's used for. Old Lin changed the topic. Huh. Lin Yi was stunned. He didn't expect old Lin to answer like this. He couldn't help but be surprised. You don't know? Chapter 692. Chapter 692. Female cat burglar Yu Xiaoka. Lin Yi was speechless. Then why are you so surprised? I thought it was something good. It's natural to be surprised. How can I not be surprised if you can get something from an ancient book? Old Lin rolled his eyes and retorted. Also, how can something mentioned in the ancient book not be good? But even if it's good, the book didn't mention how to use it. It only mentioned that it's similar to a fresh-keeping container. It can keep medicine from going bad for 10,000 years. But it definitely has more than one function. It's just lost. This. Lin Yi rolled his eyes. Then you didn't say anything. I'll research it myself. Lin Yi hung up the phone. He didn't know what to say. Old Lin's words had no value at all. It made Lin Yi very distressed. It was like getting a high-level magical weapon in a game, but he didn't know how to use it. He was happy, but he couldn't open it. Fortunately, reality wasn't a game. He didn't need to worry about the space in his backpack. He could store some junk. Lin Yi put the Wanyankin box and the 2 pieces of the map into the drawer. Since they were useless now, Lin Yi could only see them as junk. After calling old Lin Yi called Tang Yin. Hello. Tang Yin was waiting for Fun in the nurse's room when her phone rang. Tang Yin looked at the caller ID and was instantly happy. Linny, where are you? Is Meng Yao okay? Tang Yin didn't know why, but the first thing she asked was Meng Yao. Was she really worried about Meng Yao? Or was she worried about whether Lin Yi and Meng Yao were together now? Tang Yin didn't know herself. She's fine now. Lin Yi didn't know how to explain it to Tang Yin. Although it was to save Meng Yao, it was still an awkward scene. I'm at home. She's still in the hospital. Oh! Tang Yin let out a sigh of relief. She was afraid that Meng Yao would use some unorthodox methods to compete with her. For example, she could ask Lin Yi to stay by her side while she was sick. She could say that she needed protection during her illness. Tang Yin didn't have any complaints about that. Where are you? Lin Yi asked. I'm in the hospital with Xiao Fun. Guan Xan brought her there, Tang Yin said. I'll go look for you. Lin Yi didn't know if Tang Yin did it on purpose or not. But Lin Yi didn't know how to respond when Guan Xan was mentioned. That's fine too. Tang Yi nodded. My mom wanted to talk to you about buying a house. You can't stay in the hospital forever, can you? My dad's leg is almost healed. The doctor said that he only needs to rest at home. Okay, I'll go now. Lin Yi didn't have anything to do anyway. He hung up and left the villa, but he remembered that he'd left his car at the food street behind the school. He'd left with Jiang Wen's car in the afternoon, and he'd taken a taxi to get here. It was unnecessary to go to the school to get his car. Tang Yin already knew about his relationship with the Mississippi Lin Yi drove Yushu's yellow beetle. Lin Yi had just parked the car in the parking lot of the Songshan First People's Hospital when a middle-aged beggar with a cane came up to him. Young man, do me a favor and give me some money. As soon as the beggar came up, he began to talk incessantly. My leg was injured when I was working at the construction site. The black-hearted contractor didn't give me a single cent, so I can only rely on begging to save up for medical expenses. Do me a favor, I won't mind 100 or 2. 100 or 2 wasn't mind a favor. Lin Yi couldn't help but be amused. This beggar's appetite was too big. 100 or 2. Wasn't he afraid of biting his tongue? If he'd only asked for 8 or 10 kwai, Linny might have just given him some change and sent him on his way, but this beggar was crossing the line. Naturally, he was getting annoyed. He looked at the beggar faintly and said one word, "Scram." But the beggar didn't leave. Instead, he blocked the front of Lin Yi's car and refused to leave. "If you don't give me money, I'll keep sitting here. Don't leave today. I'm a disabled man. What's there to be afraid of? Don't come back if you can." Huh. Lin Yi laughed at the beggar's stubbornness. He took out the silver needle box from his pocket and opened it. He looked at the beggar and said faintly, "Your leg is broken? It's just right. I'll help you cure it." As Lin Yi said this, he took out a silver needle and was about to stab the beggar. The beggar was shocked. He didn't expect Lin Yi to carry silver needles with him. He was a little timid. He looked at Lin Yi with hatred, turned around, and quickly left with his cane. Lin Yi sneered and put away the silver needle box. To deal with this kind of person, he naturally had to be more domineering than them. Lin Yi locked the car and was about to walk into the hospital, but he was stopped by a girl. Lin Yi frowned. The girl was pretty, with an oval face, big eyes, and arched eyebrows. She looked a bit like a girl from a romance novel, but her expression wasn't very pleasant. It was as if she was going to eat Lin Yi alive. Her eyebrows were filled with anger, as if he owed her a lot of money. "Hey, why are you like this? Don't you have any sympathy? He's a disabled man, okay? Not only did you not pay, but you scared him away with a weapon?" Yu Xiaoka was angry, really angry. She hated rich and heartless people like Lin Yi the most. He drove such a good car, but he didn't have the slightest bit of sympathy. Not only did he not pay, he even threatened the beggar with a weapon. He was so wicked to a certain extent. With a weapon. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. He then remembered the silver needle in his hand. It seemed that this brave girl had misunderstood him. However, Lin Yi was too lazy to explain to her. He shook his head and turned to leave. "Hey, I'm talking to you." Yu Xiaoka was even more angry. She grabbed Lin Yi's clothes and didn't let him leave. The person in front of her not only didn't know how to repent, but also ignored her words. He looked like he didn't care. If she didn't teach him a lesson today, how could she face herself? This rich and heartless fat sheep. If she didn't make a move, then even the heavens would blame her. Say what? That beggar? Lin Yi frowned. If you pity him, then give him money. Chapter 693. I want to challenge you. Of course, I'll give him the money now. Xiaoka ignored Lin Yi and ran to the beggar. With her back facing Lin Yi, she took out a wallet and gave 100 yuan to the beggar. The beggar's eyes lit up as he thanked her. Xiaoka, on the other hand, left the hospital in a flash. I'm making money. I don't even know how to spend it. I'll buy a Nokia with my left hand, a Motorola with my right. Xiaoka sang happily as she counted the money in her wallet. 3,000 yuan for a beetle? It wasn't even as good as the 3 perverts she met at noon. But Xiaoka was still happy. She earned 3,000 yuan in a blink of an eye, especially after teaching that heartless rich young master a lesson. Bang! Xiaoka suddenly bumped into someone, scaring her. It was her fault for being too engrossed, counting money as she walked without looking at the road. Xiaoka said subconsciously, "Sorry, I didn't see the road. I'll help you if you don't know how to spend it." Lin Yi blocked Xiaoka's path. Xiaoka froze and raised her head. She didn't expect it to be that rich young master from before. Why are you here? You're quite rich, aren't you? Lin Yi took out a lady's wallet and looked at the money in it. 10,000 yuan? Quite a lot, huh? Xiaoka was shocked when she saw the wallet in Lin Yi's hand. She subconsciously touched her pocket, but her face paled when she touched it. My wallet? Why is it here? Oh, I thought you wanted to use your big wallet to exchange for my small wallet. Lin Yi said faintly. No wonder you gave 100 yuan to a scammer. You had too much money to burn. You're lying. When did I give money to a scammer? Xiaoka glared at Lin Yi. The beggar from before was a liar, Lin Yi said mockingly. His leg isn't lame at all. It's fine. He's healthier than you. Lin Yi was proficient in the art of medicine. Naturally, he could tell whether the beggar was really lame or not at first glance. When Lin Yi wanted to treat the beggar, not only did the beggar not stay, but he also ran away, which naturally explained the problem. What evidence do you have? Xiaoka frowned after hearing Lin Yi's words. She was not stupid. She often committed crimes in this area. She had seen the beggar more than once or twice, but she did not think much about it before. But today, after thinking about it carefully, the beggar had been begging here for at least half a year. The money he asked for was already enough to see a doctor. Why didn't he go to see a doctor, but continued to beg? But Xiaoka didn't want to admit her mistakes, especially in front of Lin Yi. This scoundrel who stole my wallet. I'm too lazy to talk to you about this. Lin Yi snatched his wallet from Xiaoka's hand. With your skills, you still dare to come out to steal? Go back and train for a few years before coming out to embarrass yourself. She was a girl, so Lin Yi was too lazy to argue with her. As for her wallet, Lin Yi decided to confiscate it to teach her a lesson. You, don't go. Xiaoka panicked. Not only did Lin Yi steal her earnings today, but he also humiliated her skills. Xiaoka had always thought of herself as the #1 thief. But Lin Yi didn't just steal her wallet, he even told her to go home and practice for a few more years. This was a blatant provocation. Xiaoka had always thought of herself as the #1 thief. Lin Yi naturally ignored her. He still needed to go to the hospital. How could he waste time with this female thief? I want to challenge you. As the 46th generation disciple of the Fian sect, how could Xiaoka let Lin Yi go? This guy dared to look down on a disciple of the Fian sect. How could Xiaoka tolerate it? She was only 18 years old. She was young and full of vigor. Naturally, she wouldn't admit defeat. Regarding the Fian sect, see Very Pure, Very Ambiguous prequel, also known as Rebirth Chasing Beauty. Challenge? Challenge what? Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka. He felt that this girl was a little crazy. This thief was too much. She didn't want to escape after he saw her. Instead, she wanted to challenge him. If she met the police, she'd be in jail already. Of course, it's the art of stealing. Xiaoka puffed out her chest and stared at her big wallet in Lin Yi's hand. If it's chest, I can consider it. But I'm sorry, I'm not interested in stealing. Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka's chest lecherously. It wasn't very big, but it was very firm. It seemed that she exercised a lot, so her chest muscles were quite developed. Xiaoka was going crazy. She had been in the business for so long, but she had never been robbed by someone. Today was the first time. This made her angry, but at the same time, she felt humiliated. She was the heir of the Fian sect. The Fian sect was the #1 thief sect in the world. How could she lose to someone else? Plus, Xiaoka didn't think that it was because she wasn't as skilled as Lin Yi, but because she was too excited when counting the money and bumped into Lin Yi, giving him the chance to steal her wallet. In fact, Lin Yi had already stolen her wallet when she stole it. It was just that she didn't feel it. Lin Yi ignored her and turned to leave. Lin Yi felt that there was something wrong with this girl's head. With this kind of mentality, she still came out to be a thief and challenged others. Seeing that Lin Yi was ignoring her, Xiaoka gritted her teeth in anger. But there was nothing she could do. This was the first time Xiaoka encountered something like this, and she didn't know what to do. Seeing that Lin Yi was leaving, she followed him. Even if Lin Yi didn't want to compete with her, she still had to get her wallet back. That was the biggest reward of the month. How could she let it be taken away so easily? Xiaoka wasn't willing. Lin Yi didn't think that Xiaoka would follow him. This made Lin Yi not know whether to laugh or cry. At the same time, he felt that Xiaoka really wasn't suited to be a thief. To be a thief to this extent, she was really stupid. If he went to the police station, would she follow him? Xiaoka followed Lin Yi. She was confident in her qigong. The Fian sect was famous for their qigong. Although she wasn't very skilled, she wasn't slow. From her point of view, following Lin Yi was a piece of cake. She was looking for a suitable opportunity to steal all of Lin Yi's wallet. However, at the corner of a street, Xiaoka froze, because Lin Yi was gone. Chapter 694. I'm so pissed. You're looking for me? Lin Yi's voice came from behind Xiaoka. Xiaoka jumped in fright and shivered, her scalp tingling. How did this person appear behind her without a sound? Why are you behind me? Xiaoka turned around and looked at Lin Yi cautiously. Was this person a ghost? Didn't you ask me? Lin Yi asked. You. Xiaoka glared at Lin Yi, not knowing what to say. You want to learn how to stalk with that level of skill? Go home and rest. This world is actually very dangerous. It's unbelievable that someone like you could survive until now. Lin Yi looked at Xiaoka sympathetically. He was a decent person. If it was someone else, Xiaoka wouldn't even be able to find a place to cry. You're the unbelievable one. Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi angrily. Hey, are you in the same trade? Xiaoka felt that Lin Yi might be in the same trade. Otherwise, how could he be so good at stealing and be so elusive? Maybe you can be in the same trade if you practice for a few more years. Lin Yi smiled. Since you're so good, then accept my challenge. Xiaoka tried to provoke him. Hey, are you afraid of losing? That's why you don't dare to accept my challenge? Whatever you think. Lin Yi shrugged. Don't follow me. You can't keep up with me. Xiaoka really didn't know what to do. Facing someone like Lin Yi who wouldn't budge, what could she do? She gritted her teeth, unwilling to give up. Then, can you give me back my wallet? Oh, I'll give it to you. I don't have much use for it anyway. Lin Yi agreed readily. Xiaoka was overjoyed. She was about to thank him when she saw her wallet flying towards her. She quickly caught it, but when he took a look, he was dumbfounded because his wallet was empty. There was not a dime left of his 10,000 yuan. Hey, where's my money? Xiaoka felt like she was being played. You only asked for your wallet, not your money? Lin Yi smiled and quickly left. Remember my words. Go back and train for a few years before coming out. Otherwise, you'll be finished sooner or later. Also, it's hard for me to understand. Are you really compassionate, or are you trying to steal my wallet by accusing me? I don't like the way you do things. I'm so mad. How infuriating. Xiaoka looked at Lin Yi's back and stomped her feet as if she wanted to crush Lin Yi. I'll stomp you to death. I'll stomp you to death. That's what you get for acting tough in front of me. That's what you get for looking down on me. That's what you get for... my leg. Xiaoka stepped on a stone and almost fractured her foot. Lin Yi turned a corner and returned to the hospital. The beggar was still begging there. When he saw Lin Yi, his eyes avoided eye contact. However, Lin Yi didn't want to do anything to the beggar. Whether he was lying or not had nothing to do with him. In the nurse's room upstairs, Lin Yi saw Tang Yin. Xiaofan and Guan Xian had just returned from the consultation. Guan Xian saw Lin Yi and blushed. She wanted to say something, but she held it back when she saw Tang Yin. On the other hand, Lin Yi took the initiative to greet Guan Xian. Xian, how's Xiaofan's illness? Actually, Lin Yi could see that Xiaofan's spirit was much better. Her illness came from her heart. Now that the knot in her heart was untied, it wasn't a big problem anymore. It was just that the side effects from before still needed to be controlled with medication. It's nothing. The doctor said that if the illness doesn't act up again, you don't need to come to the hospital anymore. Guan Xian shook her head. Sorry to trouble you. Lin Yi nodded. I saw Grandpa Guan today, but it was a bit rushed. I'll visit another day. Guan Xian nodded. She wanted to say that she wanted to cook for Lin Yi, but Tang Yin was also there. She didn't want to say it directly. She was afraid that Tang Yin would misunderstand. She hesitated and said, "Tang Yin, why don't you come as well? I'll cook for you guys." "I won't be going. I've been quite busy recently. I don't know what to do now that my house is gone." Tang Yin was a bit embarrassed to go. It seemed like she didn't trust Lin Yi. Wouldn't that make her look petty? Tang Yin replied to Guan Xian's invitation, "But I've troubled you a lot with Xiaofin and my father. I should treat you. When my house is settled, I'll cook for you." "Sure." Guan Xian agreed with a smile. As they were talking, someone called Guan Xian at the door. Guan Xian went to work, while Lin Yi and Tang Yin went to Tang Juqing's ward. Kong Xiaobo, Xiaofin, and Lu Xinwen left first. They knew that Tang Yan's family was looking for Lin Yi to discuss about the house. It wasn't appropriate for them to participate. "Uncle Tang, how do you feel?" Lin Yi saw that Tang Juqing could walk with the help of the crutches. His recovery was quite fast. "Not bad. He's much stronger than the last time. Your Chinese medicine is very effective." Even the doctors in the hospital were surprised. Tang Juqing smiled, "But they asked me for the Chinese medicine prescription. I didn't give it to them. I said that I bought it with money and I don't have the prescription." Lin Yi nodded. It seemed that Tang Juqing wasn't a stubborn person. He was quite smart. He knew that the prescription was very valuable and couldn't be given away easily. This kind of medicine that could accelerate bone growth could be mass-produced. The economic benefits wouldn't be small. Don't give them the prescription. If anyone asks, just tell them that Professor Guan made it for you. They won't ask anymore. Lin Yi found a shield for Tang Juqing. In the medical system, Guan Shuamin's prestige was irreplaceable. "Right, Uncle Tang, Aniwang. I heard from Tang Yin that you were looking for me." "Yeah, Lil Yi, I was thinking about looking for you to see if we could buy a house. It's not good for us to stay in the hospital. The hospital fees are more expensive than a hotel. It's not worth it." Although Mrs. Tang didn't pay for it, she still felt bad. Wouldn't it be better if Lin Yi gave it to her? "That's true. The hospital isn't as good as our home." Lin Yi nodded. He didn't think about it before. Lin Yi didn't have a place to live. He was used to this kind of wandering life. However, Tang Yan's family was different. They were ordinary people. They didn't feel comfortable without a home. Chapter 695. Special Offer Room. What about the demolition at Shantytown? Is there any movement? Lin Yi didn't pay attention to Master Bing's movements these few days. He only heard that he was rebuilding Qi Bing's skyscraper again. This time, he found a very efficient construction company, and the framework was already up. Of course, although Lin Yi destroyed his house and broke his leg, his business still had to continue. The slum still had to be demolished. But Lin Yi didn't know if he learned his lesson. They said that they're going to have a meeting with everyone to discuss the compensation. After what happened last time, they'll probably increase the price a little, but it won't be too high. Mrs. Tang sighed. "Our house is gone. We'll just have to compensate as much as we can. I don't want to think about that anymore. Now that I think about it, should I rent a house or buy one?" Lin Yi couldn't interfere with the compensation. He couldn't go to Zhao Qibing again and force him to compensate Mrs. Tang, could he? He destroyed one of his skyscrapers, so they were barely even. He would let him go for now. If Zhao Qibing knew what Lin Yi was thinking, he'd probably vomit blood in anger. A skyscraper for a broken house, and it was barely enough? Wasn't this too much of a scam? Let's buy one. Renting isn't a solution. Lin Yi thought that buying a house was better than renting one. Buy a house. Mrs. Tang's heart ached. Tang Juqing and Tang Yin also wanted to buy a house. Now that they had the 500,000 from Lin Yi and some money from before, it was more than enough to buy a big house. But Mrs. Tang didn't want to spend all the money in one go. If that happened, The family would have no savings, and the feeling of being rich would be gone again. How could Lin not know what Mrs. Tang was thinking when he saw her pained expression? He smiled faintly. "Aunt Wang, I know a friend. He used to be in the real estate business, so he should know a lot of developers. I'll give him a call and see if there are any special offer rooms." "All right, that's great. Can you help me ask?" Mrs. Tang's greedy personality had not changed at all. When she heard that Lin could get a special price house, she immediately perked up. Actually, even if Lin couldn't get a special price house, Mrs. Tang would still agree to buy a house under Tang Juqing and Tang Yan's insistence. But now that Lin could use his connections to save some money, why not? Mrs. Tang was very happy that she wanted to talk to Lin instead of foolishly running off to buy a house. Wouldn't that be a huge loss? Lin gave Fatty Lai a call. Fatty Lai was in a state of extreme excitement. The press conference was very successful, and he believed that there wouldn't be any more advertisements before the products hit the market. With all these media reports, it would be hard for Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company not to be famous. After all, the fainting incident in the first high school was heavily hyped up by Direwolf. The number of comments on the internet was calculated in units of hundreds of millions. All the netizens in the country were paying attention to this matter. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company solved the fainting incident at the most crucial moment and formulated the corresponding antidote. This kind of reaction speed was enough to make them look down on everyone. By then, Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company's name would be spread all over the internet. "Boss!" Fatty Lai picked up the phone. "I heard that your press conference was quite successful." Although Lin didn't see it himself, he heard the taxi drivers talking about it on the way here. They said how amazing Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was. Even the hospital couldn't cure the disease, but they cured it. If it wasn't for Boss's powerful prescription, everything I did would be in vain. Fatty Lai's mind was still very clear. He didn't get complacent because of it. He understood that everything was because of Lin Yi's prescription and antidote. If it wasn't for these two, people would have to believe him no matter how much he boasted. You've done very well." Lin praised him. "Oh, right. How's the preparation of the antidote?" "The raw materials have been purchased, and it's already on the production line. Elder Guan is there to check, so there shouldn't be a problem," Fatty Lai said. "And let me ask you something. Do you know anyone who is selling houses?" Lin asked. "Selling houses? Why, boss, you want to buy a house?" Fatty Lai was stunned and asked. "It's Tang Yan's house. Didn't Zhao Qibing destroy the slums? I'm planning to buy a house now. Do you know any developers who are doing promotions or selling houses at special prices?" Lin Yi's question was vague, but he believed that with Fatty Lai's intelligence, he would be able to understand Lin Yi's meaning. Indeed, Fatty Lai understood. From the moment he heard that Tang Yan's family wanted to buy a house, he understood Lin Yi's meaning. Fatty Lai used to be in the real estate business. He had a few buildings in Songshan, and some of them were unsold or kept for his own use. Lin couldn't directly tell Tang Yan's family that he wanted to buy a house. With Tang Yan's personality, she would definitely reject it. Mrs. Tang would definitely stay, and there would be some conflict between the mother and daughter. That was the case with the 500,000 yuan from before. Tang Yin always wanted to return it to Lin Yi, but Mrs. Tang wouldn't take it out. So Lin Yi thought of an idea. He wanted Fatty Lai to find an excuse to sell the house to Mrs. Tang at a low price. That way, Mrs. Tang would benefit from it, and Tang Yin wouldn't suspect anything. "Oh, there really is." Fatty Lai thought about it and said, "Just tell Auntie to contact me directly. I'll take care of it." Lin Yi smiled. Fatty Lai's ability to understand was quite good. He smiled and said, "There is? All right. I'll tell Auntie Wang to contact you." Mrs. Tang looked at Lin Yi eagerly. When she heard Lin Yi say there was, her eyes lit up and she almost laughed out loud. She didn't have much money on hand, so she wanted to save as much as possible. Is there? Annie Wong, my friend, said that there really is a house with a special price promotion. You can contact him directly. Lin Yi smiled. Ah, that's great. I'll go check it out tomorrow. Mrs. Tang was also in a hurry to move. She couldn't find a suitable house before, but it was actually a cheap house. Nowadays, housing prices weren't cheap. If she could get a special price house, it would be a great deal. Lin Yi told Mrs. Tang about Fatty Lai's contact. Tang Yun frowned slightly. She was a little suspicious. How could it be such a coincidence? Their family was just about to buy a house, and Lin Yi could find someone to buy a special price house? But she couldn't ask in front of her mother, so she could only keep her doubts in her heart. There were police guards at the door. Some people were happy while others were sad. Chapter 696. Visiting Jiangwen. Jiangwen, on the other hand, didn't think the same. He was so worried that his hair was turning white. There were policemen guarding the door, and it was impossible to call the tattooed guy, or Zhong Pingliang. He didn't bring his phone with him, and he was afraid that the police would find out if he used the ward phone. The kidney trafficking organization that he worked so hard for was wiped out by the police, just like that. Jiang Wen was in a lot of pain, but that wasn't the most painful thing. The most painful thing was that one of his kidneys had been cut off, and if he wasn't mistaken, that kidney should be in Zhong Pingliang's body. Jiang Wen didn't want to lose a kidney. He wanted to find Zhong Pingliang and get his kidney back, but he didn't dare to do so. Although a kidney was important, it was nothing compared to his life. If the police found out that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization, what awaited him wouldn't just be jail time. He might even be executed. And so, Jiang Wen was stuck in a dilemma. All he could do was stay in the room, depressed. The police came to see him, and he had to pretend to be the victim, looking pitiful and pained. In truth, he was in pain, but he didn't expose himself. But he didn't hide his identity. Jiang Wen wanted to make up a name, but it would be harder to explain if the police found out. He might as well tell them his real name. It would be safer. But what Jiang Wen didn't expect was that two acquaintances came to visit him. Chun Yutian didn't expect Ling Shan to call him. This made him excited, but at the same time he was surprised. Why was Ling Shan calling him? Ling Shan didn't expect that Lu Wanli's victim list would include Jiang Wen, one of the famous Song's Han Four Young Masters. Of course, Ling Shan didn't have a good impression of a playboy like this at all. This was also why she didn't like Chun Yutian at all. He only knew how to use his family background to bully others and act cool outside. What was left after he left his family's power? Although Chun Yutian had changed a lot these few years, Ling Shan still didn't have any feelings for him. Their relationship was only slightly better than before. They could be considered as normal friends. So since they were normal friends, Ling Shan still needed to inform Chun Yutian when something happened to Jiang Wen. Plus, as much as she hated Jiang Wen was one of the more important people in the city. She had to pay him a visit. Ling Shan called Yutian to visit Jiang Wen at the hospital. No matter what, Yutian was very happy that Ling Shan asked him out alone. However, Chun Yutian felt strange that Jiang Wen had one of his kidneys cut off by a kidney trafficking organization. Especially when he was drinking yesterday, he was fine. But today he was in the hospital. This made Chun Yutian feel miserable. Ling Shan was cold the whole way, her face cool and emotionless. Yutian had a lot of things he wanted to say, but he didn't know where to start. He tried to say something that didn't hurt, but Ling Shan just ignored him. Yutian could only smile bitterly. From the looks of it, he really didn't have a big chance. Ling Shan's words, in particular, made Yutian give up completely. He felt that he had no hope in this life. I've broken through the middle phase of the golden class into the late phase. What's your strength now? Ling Shan thanked Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart. If it wasn't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't have been able to break through. What else could Yutian do other than smile bitterly? He had just broken through to the early phase of the golden class. He wasn't even at the peak of the early phase, let alone the middle phase. The difference between him and Ling Shan was like heaven and earth. Chun Yutian, I hope you can face yourself. The difference between us is too big. We're not suitable. Ling Shan knew what Yutian was thinking, but she didn't expect him to still be thinking about her after so many years. Not suitable. Yutian sighed. Ling Shan wasn't giving him a chance at all. You think you can beat me? Ling Shan raised her head and stared at Yutian. I told you before, I don't like men who are weaker than me. When have you ever been strong in front of me? Not even once. You're always this weak, asking if I have time or not, asking if I have a chance. Look at what you've done. If you really have the strength, why don't you show it to me? Strong. Chun Yutian sighed once more. Can I be strong? You're a late phase, and I'm only an early phase. How am I supposed to be strong? Didn't you send me flying with one kick? Ling Shan shook her head at Yutian's silence. Yutian was weaker than her, but he didn't have the heart to be strong. He didn't even dare think about it. Ling Shan couldn't accept this kind of personality at all. Even if she did, she'd probably be laughed at when she brought him back to the songhouse. People who didn't know better would think that she'd found a man who married into her family. If it were Lin Yi, he'd probably explode already. But if it were Lin Yi, would she dare ask him a stupid question like, can you beat me? It seemed like she didn't dare to. Lin Yi would definitely return the Miss Brain Dead nickname to her. Ling Shan felt wronged in her heart. She was such a strong person. How could she not have any temper after being stepped on by Lin Yi? Forget it. She still needed him to solve the case. Ling Shan comforted herself. Jiang Wen looked at Ling Shan and Yutian, who suddenly appeared in the ward. His heart was filled with despair. It seemed like the police outside didn't lie to him. The kidney trafficking organization was really done for. Otherwise, Ling Shan wouldn't be standing here unscathed. But luckily, Ling Shan didn't know that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization. Otherwise, he wouldn't be lying in the hospital now. Jiang Wen, what happened to you? Why did you encounter something like this? Chun Yutian felt that this was unbelievable. The kidney trafficking organization wouldn't choose a young master like Jiang Wen who drove a sports car when they chose their target, right? Weren't they afraid that things would get out of hand? Chapter 697. The Urge to Die, I See. Yutian started to sympathize with Jiang Wen. His relationship failed and his kidney was cut off. One could imagine the pain in his heart. He turned to Ling Shan. Did you catch the culprit? The mastermind, the tattooed guy, has been caught, but the surgeon committed suicide, Ling Shan said faintly. I wonder if there's any hidden profit chain behind this criminal organization? The police are investigating further. What Ling Shan said was information that could be obtained from the official channels. However, Jiang Wen was lying in the hospital room, so naturally he didn't know much about these things. When he heard that the tattooed guy had been arrested and that the main surgeon had committed suicide, he felt dizzy. His own kidney trafficking company. The surgeon committed suicide. What was he going to do? He was still hoping that the surgeon could get his kidney back. Now it was all over. Even if he found Zhong Pingliang, he wouldn't be able to find the surgeon to do it. Which hospital would do it for him? He couldn't tell the police. Otherwise, the police would ask him how he knew that Zhong Pingliang's kidney was his. Yutian saw Jiang Wen's unnatural expression and thought that he was reminiscing about the past. He quickly comforted him. Jiang Wen bro, I'm sorry for your loss. Luckily, you only lost one kidney. Your life is not in danger. Think of a way to get a kidney transplant in the future. Jiang Wen could only smile bitterly. It wasn't just because he lost one kidney. He knew where his kidney was, but he couldn't get it back. This was the most painful thing. Plus, his kidney trafficking organization was his blood, sweat, and tears. Jiang Wen, don't worry. The police will give you justice. The criminal has been arrested. We hope that you can testify in court. Ling Shan came as a representative of the police. She didn't like Jiang Wen, but he was still a victim. There were some things she had to say. All right. Jiang Wen's heart was bleeding. He had to testify against his own criminal organization. Was there anyone else like her in the world? But Jiang Wen didn't have a choice. He was afraid that Ling Shan would suspect him, so he could only nod reluctantly. I'll be a witness. Jiang Wen, bro. How about this? I'll call little Shu and see if she's with Yao Yao. I'll ask them to come and see you too. Chen Yutian saw how pitiful Jiang Wen was and felt pity for him. He thought that if Meng Yao came to visit Jiang Wen, maybe Jiang Wen would feel better. Jiang Wen was overjoyed. Chen Yutian knew him the best, as expected of one of the 4 young masters of Mount Songshan. You really are good to me. Meng Yao would sympathize with me if she saw me like this, wouldn't she? At that time, the girl's maternal instincts would come out, and I might even have a chance. Meng Yao may be cold, but she had a kind heart. Jiang Wen knew that. Otherwise, she wouldn't have asked Lin Yi to save him at the amusement park. As a result, Jiang Wen approved of Meng Yao coming to see him, but he was a little wary of Yushu. That girl was a pure troublemaker who loved to see the world in chaos. He reckoned that she'd probably clap her hands if she saw him in this state, wishing that he'd die. But what Yushu thought had nothing to do with Jiang Wen. Jiang Wen didn't like Yushu, and he didn't want a girl like her even if she threw herself at him. He wouldn't be able to live if he brought her back home. She might even castrate him in the middle of the night. So Jiang Wen always kept his distance from Yushu. He didn't want to mess with her, but he couldn't offend her either. After all, she was Meng Yao's best friend. Then I'll have to trouble you. Yu Tian bro, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Jiang Wen was touched. Yu Tian cared for him like this even when he was injured. It made him feel good. Yu Tian called his sister Yushu. Yushu had just returned to the ward with Meng Yao. She held Meng Yao's hand and looked at the serious expression on Meng Yao's face. She giggled. Yao Yao sis, what's wrong? Why do you look so unhappy? You should be very happy that you escaped death. You should be very happy that you survived. Look at me. Every time I play Super Mario Bros. With you, I'll cheer when I meet a boss and survive. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. How can this be the same as a game? Besides, you're happy that Lin Yi saw you? Oh, but I'm not unhappy. So what if he saw me? I'll marry him in the future. Won't he see me too? When we played 3P together, we saw everything. Yushu counted with her fingers. It's just a little earlier, so what? Meng Yao rolled her eyes. She realized that she couldn't communicate with Yushu. She didn't know if this girl had the concept of chastity in her head. She acted like nothing had happened after Lin Yi saw her. She was living happily every day, happier than anyone else. Truly, fortune favors fools. Fools wouldn't think so much about gains and losses. When did I say I'm marrying him? Meng Yao humphed. No, you and Lin Yi have to keep it a secret, or else I won't be able to get married in the future. Oh, don't worry. Only the 3 of us will know. We won't let outsiders see or talk about our things. Yushu nodded. Meng Yao was speechless. She realized that Yushu didn't seem to understand her at all. Or was she purposely not understanding? Meng Yao suddenly realized that her best friend's brain was very strong. When she wanted to understand, her reaction was faster than anyone else's. But when she didn't want to understand, it was useless no matter what you said. Don't talk about this anymore. Meng Yao could only take a step back and warned Yushu. Okay, I won't talk about it anymore. Yushu nodded. Yao Yao, sis, what are we going to do now? It's so boring in the hospital. I don't want to stay here anymore. The smell of disinfectant is making me dizzy. Chapter 698. Super good news. Where do you want to go? Meng Yao asked. Why don't we go home and play hide and seek? Yushu suggested. Hide and seek? Are you in heat? Do you want to be sandwiched by the fence again and let Lin-Yi touch your boobs? Meng Yao rejected Yushu's suggestion. There was only so much space in the house. It was fine to play hide and seek occasionally, but it was boring to play it often. All right. What do you want to play then? Yushu changed the topic, not even blushing, as if Meng Yao wasn't talking about her at all. How would I know? Why don't we go home and play video games? Meng Yao wanted to play games after hearing Yushu talking about video games. Okay. Yushu nodded. She liked to play anything. As they were talking, Yushu's phone rang. Yushu looked at the caller ID and saw that it was her brother. She quickly picked it up. Bro. Shu, where are you? Yu Tian's voice came from the other side of the phone. Yao sis and I are at the hospital. Bro, what's up? Yushu said. If you're free, come and play games with us. Yu Tian was taken aback when Yushu said that they were in the hospital. He thought that they were sick, but since Yushu said that they were playing games, it was obvious that they were fine. He didn't ask further and said, Jiangwen drank last night and fell asleep on the road. One of his kidneys was cut off by the criminals. If you and Yao are free, why don't you come and see him? We're at Songshan's First People's Hospital, 3rd Inpatient Department, room 218. Holy shit! Yushu's eyes widened and she clapped her hands. Yao sis, let me tell you some super good news. Jiang Wen's kidney was cut off, just like Zhong Pingliang. Your pursuers are so pitiful. All of them had their kidneys cut off. Yu Tian was speechless. This girl of his was too fierce. Even if she didn't like Jiang Wen, she didn't have to cheer like that, right? If Jiang Wen heard it, wouldn't he be pissed to death? Luckily, he was far away and Jiang Wen couldn't hear the conversation. Jiang Wen, his kidney was removed? Meng Yao paused. She didn't look as happy as Yushu, but she didn't look sad either. Jiang Wen and her were drifting apart, and they weren't the big brother next door anymore. Meng Yao shook her head. As expected, people couldn't go back to the past when they grew up. Shu, you and Yao should come and take a look, right? No matter what, Jiang Wen is a friend from the past. We have a good relationship. Yu Tian said. Oh, okay. Yao, and I don't have anything to do anymore. We can go visit him. It'll be fun. Yushu agreed after some thought. Chun Yu Tian didn't know what to say. Fun. Jiang Wen losing one of his kidneys? Was that fun? However, Chun Yu Tian couldn't do anything about this weird sister of his. The old man spoiled her and treated her like the treasure of the family. From a certain angle, his sister was indeed very cute. Yao sis, we have a place to play now. Let's go visit Jiang Wen in the hospital. His kidney was cut off. It's so fun. Yushu hung up and said to Meng Yao, Do you think it was Shield Bro who did it? Lin-Yi? Meng Yao was startled. Could it be Lin-Yi? Why did Lin-Yi cut off Jiang Wen's kidney? Was it because Jiang Wen wanted to chase her and confess to her during dinner yesterday? It didn't seem possible. Lin-Yi didn't even like her. Why would he cut off Jiang Wen's kidney? It might be possible if she ordered him to do it, but she didn't order him to do it. Meng Yao and Yushu told Pingzhan that they were going to visit Jiang Wen in Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. Pingzhan was worried about the two of them going out alone. After all, the coma incident had just ended. Pingzhan was like a frightened bird. He asked Faubert to send them off. In the car, Yushu called Lin-Yi. Shield Bro, where are you? I'm at Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. Lin-Yi picked up Yushu's call in front of Tang Yin. Since Tang Yin already knew about his relationship with Meng Yao and Yushu, there was no need to hide it anymore. Oh, that's perfect. Yao and I are going to visit Jiang Wen at Songshan's Songshan First Hospital. You can come with us. Yushu said happily when she heard that Lin-Yi was going to Songshan First Hospital. Visit Jiang Wen? Lin-Yi was startled. He thought that this kid's kidney was cut off. Didn't that mean that his kidney was given to Zhong Pingliang? Would that be a match? Yeah, Jiang Wen's kidney was cut off. Yushu said happily, come and protect us. What if Jiang Wen goes crazy and beats me and Yarao sis up? Lin Yi was speechless. Jiang Wen's kidney was cut off. How would he have the strength to beat people up? Beat them up? However, Lin Yi knew Yushu's personality. He said, okay, call me when you arrive. Okay, we'll be there soon. Just wait for us at the entrance of the 3rd hospital. Yushu said. After Yushu hung up, Lin Yi saw Tang Yin looking at him. He smiled. Meng Yao and Yushu are here. They are going to visit a patient. They asked me to go with them. I'll go then. There's nothing else here. Tang Yin wanted to go shopping with Lin Yi after leaving the hospital. The weather was getting hotter and hotter. Tang Yin wanted to buy a pair of shorts. She wanted to go to the night market, but she couldn't do that today. If there's something else, I'll come back later. Lin Yi saw that Tang Yin wanted to say something, but stopped. It seemed like she had something to tell him. Okay, let's see the time. Tang Yin said happily. Lin Yi said goodbye to Mr. Tang and Mrs. Tang before leaving for the 3rd hospital department. He saw Li Fu's Bentley at the bottom of the building, arriving just in time to see Li Fu's car. Meng Yao and Yushu got off the car hand in hand. Yushu waved at Lin Yi. Miss only glanced at Lin Yi indifferently as a greeting. Lin Yi knew what Miss was thinking. He didn't want to argue with her. He smiled. You're visiting a patient. Don't you want to bring some gifts? Oh, we need to celebrate. I'll go buy some firecrackers. Yushu thought for a while and said seriously, Chapter 699. Angered again. You're right. Let's have a big meal to celebrate later? Yushu nodded, giving up on the idea of buying firecrackers. The 3 of them entered the 1st inpatient department and went up to the 2nd floor. When they arrived at the door of room 218, they saw a policeman patrolling nearby. Seeing that the 3 of them were about to enter the ward, someone immediately stopped them. May I ask who you are looking for? Yu Tian came with Ling Shan, so naturally the police let them pass. But Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu, although they looked harmless, couldn't be taken lightly. We're here to see Jiang Wen, Lin Yi said. He didn't expect Jiang Wen to be protected by the police. Jiang Wen is one of the victims we're protecting. May I know your names? I'll have to ask for the names of the victims and their superior, the police officer said. Who's your superior? Ling Shan or Lu Wangli? Lin Yi didn't expect it to be so troublesome to look after Jiang Wen. You know Captain Song and Captain Lu? The police officer paused. Captain Song is inside. Wait a moment, I'll go get her. After hearing that Lin Yi not only knew Lu Wangli but also Ling Shan, the police officer didn't dare to delay and went into the room after informing Lin Yi. Captain Song, someone wants to see Jiang Wen and he knows you. The police officer reported. Knows me? Ling Shan paused. I'll go take a look. Ling Shan saw Lin Yi, Meng Yao, and Yushu when she came out of the room. Ling Shan was curious about Lin Yi visiting Jiang Wen. Did Lin Yi know Jiang Wen? Lin Yi. Ling Shan looked at Lin Yi, her expression a little unnatural because Meng Yao and Yushu were there too. But she recovered quickly. What was there to be afraid of? They weren't Lin Yi's girlfriends. What did her relationship with Lin Yi have to do with them? Why is Jiang Wen being protected? Lin Yi asked. He's one of the victims of the kidney trafficking organization. We need him to testify, Ling Shan said. Do you know him? Yes, but not close. Lin Yi shrugged, finding it funny. Jiang Wen testifying against his own organization? Although Jiang Wen was the mastermind, all the evidence had been erased. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time talking to Ling Shan. Ling Shan nodded and followed Lin Yi into the room. She looked like a bully, not daring to pass Lin Yi. No one else noticed this detail, not even Meng Yao and Yushu. Yu Tian, on the other hand, didn't think much about it. He didn't believe that Ling Shan would get bullied at all. Shu Yao Yao. Lin Yi, you're here. Yu Tian said Lin Yi's name unnaturally. He respected Lin Yi very much. He called Lin Yi Instructor Eagle instead of Lin Yi's name. Yushu looked at her brother and then at Lingshan. Her face fell. She couldn't understand why her brother was so stubborn. Lingshan obviously didn't like him, and he was still chasing after her. How embarrassing! Lingshan, this fox, was also a troublemaker. She should be taught a lesson. HM? Yushu's eyes lit up. She had an idea. Jiang Wen was overjoyed to see Meng Yao. Yushu, on the other hand, was automatically ignored by Jiang Wen. But when he saw Lin Yi behind Yushu, his face froze up. Lin Yi knew that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization. He was going to remove Lin Yi's kidney this morning, but it turned out to be him. However, Lin Yi hated him. Could it be that Lin Yi saved Lingshan? With that thought, Jiang Wen's hatred for Lin Yi grew even thicker, and so did his fear. He was afraid that Lin Yi would reveal his identity to Lingshan, and he was angry that Lin Yi ruined his hard work. However, he didn't consider that if he didn't capture Lin Yi and Lingshan, his kidney trafficking organization wouldn't be destroyed so quickly. Jiang Wen thought about it carefully and let out a breath of relief. So what if Lin Yi told Lingshan? There was no evidence. The tattooed guy would definitely hold on and wouldn't sell him out. The only person who knew his identity, Dr. Wang, had committed suicide. Who else could prove that he was the head of the kidney trafficking organization? Even if he refused to admit it, Lingshan wouldn't be able to do anything to him. People from house and weren't easy to bully. He believed that Lingshan wouldn't dare to do anything to him without evidence. Jiang Wen felt relieved after thinking about this. He pretended to be fake and said, "Lin Yi bro, you're here too? You still remember me at this time? I will treat you to a meal when I recover." Jiang Wen had to do this to maintain his image in Meng Yao's heart. Otherwise, Meng Yao would think that he was a narrow-minded person. "Oh, Jiang Wen bro, you lost a kidney. Can you still recover? You won't die, right?" Yushu didn't wait for Lin Yi to speak and spoke first. "Wah." Jiang Wen was stunned. His face turned red from Yushu's words. He cursed in his heart. "Mother ***, would you die if you lost a kidney? Can't you not piss me off?" However, Jiang Wen didn't dare to scold Yushu. He didn't dare to offend House Qin. Plus, Qin Yutian was in the ward. Plus, Yushu was Meng Yao's best friend. If he scolded her, he wouldn't be able to recover. "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Losing a kidney will only affect your health. You won't die." Qin Yutian couldn't do anything to his sister. He could only explain to her. "Oh, I see. I think so too." Yushu nodded. "I heard that a man is not a complete man if he lost a kidney. Jiang Wen bro, your dream of having sex with Yao Yao sis is gone. Plus, you won't be able to have a threesome." Wah! Jiang Wen's face turned purple. He didn't expect Yushu to be so evil. She touched his sore spot. He shouldn't have let her come. Did she really want to embarrass him in front of Meng Yao? "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Even if he is a man, I won't have sex with him." Meng Yao frowned. She felt that Yushu was going overboard. It was as if she agreed to have sex with Jiang Wen. Meng Yao's words, however, had a different meaning to them. Jiang Wen felt a chill run down his spine. Even if he was a man, was he not a man now? Chapter 700. Lingshan frowned. Lingshan frowned. "Meng Yao, Yushu, please watch your words. Jiang Wen's a victim, and his injuries and emotions aren't stable yet. Please don't provoke him." "How did I provoke him?" Yushu didn't have a good impression of Lingshan. "I'm just stating the truth. My brother said that losing a kidney will affect his health." Yu Tian smiled bitterly as he lowered his head. On one side was his sister, and on the other side was Lingshan. Who should he help? Who could he help? How? Lingshan glared at Yu Tian. What are you standing there for? Go get the doctor. I'll go right now. Yutian nodded and went to get the doctor. Yushu was about to explode. What was wrong with this brother of hers? He was like a mouse in front of a cat in front of Lingshan, so careful and careful. Why was he so soft? She was his sister, and he didn't even care about what that fox said. He even went to get the doctor for Lingshan. Bro, you can't go. Yushu stood in front of Yutian, staring at him angrily. She insulted your sister. How could you let her bully me like that? Shu. Yutian didn't know what to do. Lingshan wasn't bullying Yushu, was she? She was just being strict with her words. As expected, he's unreliable. Yushu was disappointed to see Yutian in a dilemma. Shield Bro was still the best. He would always help her and stand by her side. Yes, she would only be good to Shield Bro in this life. Even her own brother couldn't do it. Lin Yi was surprised by Yutian's actions, but from Yushu's reaction, he could guess what was going on. Yutian was Lingshan's pursuer? Someone was pursuing Miss Song? Shu, I'll go get the doctor. Yutian saw the disappointment in his sister's eyes, but there was nothing he could do. Lingshan was the one who told him to get the doctor, and Jiang Wen was unconscious. He didn't want anything to happen to him. No. Yushu disagreed. This wasn't as simple as finding a doctor anymore. This was a battle between Lingshan and Lingshan. Yushu really didn't understand. Why was her brother like Lingshan so much? Her brother was very outstanding, okay? Although he wasn't as good as Shield Bro, he was still the eldest grandson of the Qin family. What kind of girl couldn't he get? Yushu and Lingshan had always been on good terms since they were young, and that was why Yushu was targeting Lingshan. Meng Yao couldn't stand it anymore, but she knew Shu's personality. She might look like a fool, but when she was really stubborn, no one could stop her. This was the reason why Shu stayed by her side when she fainted. Meng Yao was very touched. Yushu's words and suggestions sometimes made her feel awkward, like mistresses and threesomes. But Meng Yao knew that Yushu really didn't want to be separated from her. She wanted to be with her forever. Lin Yi didn't expect Yushu and Lingshan to fight like this, but Yutian was indeed a little weak, and Lin Yi couldn't stand it anymore. He said faintly, "No need, Jiang Wen won't die for now." Yutian opened his mouth, but he could only bite the bullet and say, "Okay." Lin Yi was the person Yutian admired the most, and it was because of Lin Yi that he changed. Otherwise, he would still be a spoiled brat, hanging out with Jiang Wen every day. Lingshan, on the other hand, looked at Yutian surprised. Lin Yi's words worked this well. Why did Yutian agree to it so easily? Lingshan felt like she had lost face, and Yutian didn't listen to her with her strong personality. But when she remembered that it was Lin Yi, she calmed down immediately. She could only blame her bad luck for being bullied by Lin Yi. Would she dare to complain? She didn't at the moment, but today, Yutian made Lingshan look at him in a different light. For the first time, he was strong. It was a pity that Lingshan didn't like him. Changing his personality wouldn't change her feelings. Yushu paused, looking at her brother in disbelief. He didn't even listen to her, but he listened to Shield Bro. Yutian, on the other hand, was surprised. Lingshan didn't insist on going to the doctor anymore. Lin Yi didn't say anything else. He walked to Jiang Wen's bedside and pressed on his head a couple of times. Jiang Wen woke up immediately. Jiang Wen jumped when he saw Lin Yi pressing on his head. Was Lin Yi going to kill him? But then he remembered that Lingshan and Yutian were here. Lin Yi wouldn't dare to kill him. Of course, if only Lin Yi and Yushu were here, Jiang Wen wouldn't feel at ease. That girl would definitely work with Lin Yi to kill him. It was too scary. "Thank you, Brother Lin. My body isn't too good, and I fainted." Jiang Wen thanked Lin Yi. "You're welcome. We're even now," Lin Yi said faintly. Jiang Wen paused, but he understood what Lin Yi meant. Lin Yi was referring to how he knocked him out before and how he woke him up now. Of course. Only Jiang Wen could understand what he was saying. "Oh, Jiang Wen bro, you're awake." Yushu looked at Jiang Wen apologetically. I'm sorry, I won't talk nonsense again. Haha, it's fine. What else could Jiang Wen say? He didn't want to argue with Yushu. He couldn't afford to. His life would be shortened if he did. Oh, let's take a photo with Jiang Wen. Bro, losing a kidney is something to remember. This is the only time he'll ever lose one in his life. He can't lose one in the future. Yushu clapped her hands and suggested. Jiang Wen almost fainted again when he heard Yushu's words. What was so memorable about losing a kidney? Only once in his life. Wasn't that obvious? Wouldn't he die if he lost one more time? But Yushu wasn't as sharp this time, so he couldn't argue back. He could only pretend that he didn't understand what Yushu was trying to say. Plus, he was very willing to take a photo with Meng Yao. Chapter 701. We'll be missed. Oh, it's time to take a picture. Yao Yao, come quick. Yushu waved at Meng Yao. Meng Yao didn't want to join in the fun. But seeing how excited Yushu was, she didn't object. She walked over and stood beside Yushu, not standing right next to Jiang Wen. This disappointed Jiang Wen a little. Bro, you come too. Yushu waved and turned to Lin Yi. Shield bro, stand behind me, and Yao Yao to protect us. I'll take the picture for you guys, I'll pass. Lin Yi felt that there was no point in taking pictures with Jiang Wen. No, there's only Lingshan sis here. She's the only outsider here. Come quick. Yushu started targeting Lingshan again. Lingshan was about to say, why should I take a picture for you guys? She was a police. She had no obligation to take a family picture for you guys. Plus, so what if she was an outsider? Who would want to be part of your family? But Lingshan didn't get to say anything before Lin Yi spoke up. All right. With that, he walked over and stood behind Yushu and Meng Yao. This put Lingshan in a difficult situation. Lin Yi was already there. Should she take the picture or not? I don't have a camera. Lingshan felt like a punching bag. How embarrassing. Lingshan sis, you have a phone. The resolution is really high. The beach castle you took for me last time was really pretty. Yushu didn't want to let Lingshan go. She wanted Lingshan to lose face in front of her brother. She wanted her brother to see that the arrogant girl he liked was just a punching bag in front of Shield Bro. Lingshan was furious. If it weren't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't have gone to take pictures of that beach castle. Was she an idiot? Oh, it seemed like Lin Yi thought she was an idiot? No obligation. Lingshan said coldly. All right, Lingshan, hurry up and take one. Lin Yi frowned. This Lingshan was too much. There were so many people standing here, and she was still trying to make excuses. Even if she had some conflict with Yushu, he was still standing here. Lingshan froze upon hearing Lin Yi's words. Lin Yi was still standing there. Wouldn't Lin Yi be mad if she didn't film it? She remembered that Lin Yi had called her Song Lingshan and not Dumb Girl, and that made her a little happier. Luckily, Lin Yi had given her face in front of all these people. Otherwise, she'd lose all her face if he'd called her Dumb Girl. All right. Lingshan quickly took out her phone to take a picture, thinking that she'd almost pissed off Lin Yi today because of Yushu. Yushu was very pleased with herself. It seemed that Lingshan was very afraid of Shield Bro. Every time Shield Bro spoke, Lingshan would listen to him. Yutian, on the other hand, was even more surprised. Lingshan didn't say anything when Lin Yi stopped him from going to the doctor, and Yutian thought that Lingshan and Lin Yi didn't know each other well, so she didn't want to refute Lin Yi's words. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Lin Yi's words seemed to be very effective on Lingshan. As long as Lin Yi said it, Lingshan would do it. Just what was their relationship? Was it a superior and a subordinate? Otherwise, with Lingshan's personality, when had she ever been so easily bullied? Lingshan took the picture and smiled as she passed the phone to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, what do you think? It's all right. Lin Yi nodded after taking a look. Then, little dumb girl, I'll send it to you when I get back. Is it the same as last time? Ling Shan didn't pay attention and almost blurted out the words. She realized that she wasn't talking to Lin Yi in private and quickly changed her words. All right. Lin Yi was already used to Ling Shan's attitude, so he didn't think anything was wrong. But Yu Tian was shocked. Ling Shan's attitude could only be described as fawning. When had Ling Shan ever talked to a man in such a nice and friendly manner? She actually talked to Lin Yi in this tone? Yushu and Meng Yao, on the other hand, didn't think much of it. They knew that Lin Yi was very strong, and Ling Shan even asked for help from Lin Yi. Jiang Wen, on the other hand, didn't expect Lin Yi and Ling Shan to be this close. If he knew this would happen, he would have let Ling Shan go, and things wouldn't have turned out like this. There was no point in staying here after the photo was taken. Yushu came here to mock Jiang Wen, and it was time to leave now that the fun was over. Yao Yao sis, let's go. We've already taken a souvenir and we'll miss Jiang Wen bro. Yushu paused on purpose before continuing, about the kidney. Jiang Wen was cursing Yushu in his heart. He wasn't dead yet, how could she miss him? He waited for a long time, and it turned out that she was missing the kidney. He knew that he was tricked by Yushu again. Ling Shan controlled her emotions this time. With Lin Yi around, she decided to behave herself. It wouldn't be fun if Lin Yi got angry. Yu Tian could only smile bitterly at his sister. He couldn't control her. She had been like this since she was young. As for Lin Yi, although Yu Tian had many questions he wanted to ask, he knew that even if he asked, Lin Yi might not answer. Plus, Lin Yi had already said that he was just his sister's follower. His sister's follower? His sister was too amazing. Meng Yao and Yushu said goodbye to Yu Tian and left the room. Lin Yi, on the other hand, nodded to Yu Tian and Ling Shan before leaving the room with Meng Yao and Yushu. As for Jiang Wen, Lin Yi completely ignored him. After leaving the room, Yushu couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed. Ha ha ha, I'm so happy. That fox Ling Shan is completely suppressed by Shield Bro. Let's see if she can still pretend to be arrogant now, ha 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 ha. Yushu was really happy. She hated Ling Shan ever since she was young. She thought that Ling Shan stole her brother from her, but as she grew older, she realized that it was her brother who pursued Ling Shan, and Ling Shan didn't like her brother. In Yushu's young heart, she thought that her brother was the best boy in the world. Ling Shan was blind to look down on her brother. Chapter 702. Chapter 702. The Miss Inner World Meow looked at Lin Yi faintly, not saying anything. She felt as if there was a barrier between her and Lin Yi, and there was an inexplicable feeling whenever she looked at Lin Yi. We have to have a big feast to celebrate today. Yushu seemed to be really happy. There are 3 big things happening today. First, we have to celebrate Yao Yao's coma. Shu, what did you say? Meng Yao almost fell down from her anger. Celebrate being poisoned? Was there something wrong with this Shu? Was she gloating? Oh, Yao Yao, don't be mad, I'm not done yet. Yushu waved her hand, feeling wronged. What I meant was, we have to celebrate Yao Yao's coma. She's bound to be blessed after surviving a disaster. Meng Yao blushed. It seemed like she'd misunderstood Shu. She glared at her. Can't you make it clear? I did, but I was interrupted. Yushu said weakly. You're still talking? Meng Yao made a move to tear Yushu's mouth apart. Oh, don't. I'm the mistress. I don't want to be like this. Yushu cried out. Then don't be the mistress. Meng Yao was just trying to scare her. She didn't really want to tear Yushu's mouth off, but she didn't expect Yushu to start talking nonsense again. I'll be the mistress, then. Yushu said after some thought. Suit yourself. Meng Yao rolled her eyes, not knowing what to say. Then I'll continue. This is the first thing. The second thing is that we have to celebrate Jiang Wen losing a kidney, so that he can't bother Yao Yao anymore. Yushu said. Meng Yao and Jiang Wen were pretty close when they were young, and although they weren't that close anymore, she still felt some sympathy for Jiang Wen losing a kidney. It would be too much to celebrate, and so Meng Yao didn't support Shu's suggestion. The third thing is to embarrass Fox Song. I'm so happy, Yushu said excitedly. So we have to go and celebrate. Meng Yao nodded. Escaping death was something to be thankful for. She looked at Lin Yi and asked faintly, Are you free? Lin Yi was slightly startled. How could the eldest miss speak to him in such a tone? It didn't look like it. In the past, they would always order him to take them out to eat without asking if he was free. Meng Yao's attitude made Lin Yi a little embarrassed. He wanted to go back to Tangyun after visiting Jiang Wen, but it seemed like he could only accompany the miss for dinner. I originally asked Tangyun to buy something, but I can cancel it, Lin Yi said. Let's ask her to come with us then. Meng Yao said after some hesitation. Ah. Lin Yi froze on the spot and looked at Meng Yao in disbelief. Wasn't the miss and Tangyun never on good terms? Why was she bringing Tangyun out to eat today? What did this mean? Why are you looking at me like that? Meng Yao frowned. She felt a little guilty being stared at by Lin Yi. In fact, she didn't like this feeling. Ever since Lin Yi saw her body and she peed on Lin Yi, Meng Yao instinctively felt guilty and shy in front of Lin Yi. She was no longer as arrogant and strong as before. She was the miss, his employer. How could she feel guilty in front of him? So Meng Yao tried to make her tone and attitude as cold as possible to cover up the nervousness in her heart. You want to treat her? Lin Yi asked. Oh, Yao Yao sis finally wants to negotiate with Tangyun. That's great. Yushu didn't know what Meng Yao was thinking. She cheered according to her own understanding. Negotiate. Lin Yi looked at Yushu. Was the miss going to have a showdown with Tangyun? Lin Yi had a headache thinking about the scene during lunch. On one side was his employer, and on the other side was his girlfriend. The miss was a prideful person. She must have her face. Shu, what are you talking about? What judgment? Meng Yao glared at her. I just want to thank her. In fact, Meng Yao thought so too. When she was in the hospital, she heard Tang Yun calling Lin Yi. At that moment, she felt that Tang Yun was actually a good girl. She always appeared in front of her as a love rival. When her life was in danger, Tang Yun didn't want her to die and gloat. Instead, she asked Lin Yi to save her. Meng Yao was touched. She was really touched. The miss didn't lack money, but she lacked love. Although Peng Zhan gave her enough fatherly love, he was too busy. No matter how much he loved Meng Yao, the time he could spend with her was limited. For a long time, the miss and Shu depended on each other. This caused the miss to have a cold personality. She would treat others well because she was kind. She didn't say it out loud. When Lin Yi first came, the miss instinctively rejected him. She didn't understand Lin Yi. She didn't know Lin Yi's personality. With Meng Yao's closed personality, it was already the limit for her to accept Lin Yi living in the villa. But as time went on, Meng Yao realized that Lin Yi was really, really good to her. So good that it was unbelievable. He would risk his life for her and accompany her to be a hostage. Meng Yao remembered this friendship deeply in her heart. But because of her personality, she couldn't say many words of gratitude. At home, Lin Yi often cooked for her and Shu. He took care of her and Shu like a big brother. It made Meng Yao feel warm and comfortable. Since young, no one had ever treated her so well. Meng Yao, who didn't have a mother's love, cherished this kind of relationship. No matter how good Peng Zhan was to her, he couldn't cook for her every day. He couldn't take care of her every day. Even if Faubert came to deliver food every day, he would bring it back from a big restaurant. How could it be the same as cooking for her? And so, as Meng Yao slowly accepted Lin Yi's existence, she started to rely on him in a way that was hard to detect. It was as if Lin Yi was omnipotent, and no matter what happened, he would be able to solve it easily Chapter 703. Protecting happiness, however. Tang Yen's appearance infuriated the miss. It was as if someone had taken away her most cherished possession. Meng Yao felt that Tang Yen had stolen Lin Yi. How could she just sit back and do nothing? She just had a warm feeling in the house. How could she let someone else take away her happiness? As for all the stuff about how Lin Yi couldn't see that there were pretty girls in the house, and how he went out to flirt with them, it was just an excuse. The real reason was that the miss had been lacking warmth since she was young. Meng Yao was like a safe, purposely hiding her feelings. She didn't want to admit that there was a warm feeling in the house with Lin Yi. This was the softness in the miss heart, and she didn't want others to know. Although sometimes she felt that this Lin Yi was annoying, it felt good to live under the same roof as him. If it was possible, Meng Yao hoped that this kind of life could continue. However, Tang Yen's appearance brought Meng Yao back to reality from her dream. Her dreams were shattered in an instant. Yes, Lin Yi would leave the villa sooner or later and start his own life. He would have a girlfriend, and he would have his own family, but Meng Yao didn't think that this day would come so soon. So she was filled with hostility towards Tang Yen, and wanted to chase her away from Lin Yi. She would never allow Tang Yen to destroy her warm home. She wanted Lin Yi to prepare breakfast for her and Shu every day. She wanted Lin Yi to be the first to appear when she and Shu were in trouble. So that night, when she saw Lin Yi injured, and when she saw Tang Yen, Meng Yao was furious. Why? Lin Yi was a member of the villa. Why would he get injured because of Tang Yen? And so, the first clash between Meng Yao and Tang Yen began. The miss was furious, and without thinking, she declared war on Tang Yen. This declaration led to the second clash in the cafeteria at noon. However, Tang Yen's kindness woke Miss up in an instant. Yes, what did Tang Yen do wrong? Wasn't it Lin Yi who pursued her? How could he blame her? However, Meng Yao really didn't want her to take Lin Yi away from the villa. But after what happened today, after what he'd seen her naked body, and after she'd pissed all over him so awkwardly, could their relationship still be the same? Would he look down on her? Laugh at me? Even if he didn't, how could he face Lin Yi? Annoying, really annoying. Meng Yao felt like she was going to die from annoyance. She'd never been this annoyed in her entire life. So at this moment, Miss decided that she would treat Tang Yen to a meal to express her gratitude. No matter what, they didn't know each other anymore. The miss didn't want to owe anyone anything, especially Tang Yen. How she handled her relationship with Lin Yi was her own business. She didn't want to be held back by Tang Yen because she owed Tang Yen a favor. Miss was a smart person and naturally understood this. Miss's words made Lin Yi a little surprised. However, he still took out his phone and called Tang Yen. No matter what, Lin Yi also wanted to ease the relationship between Miss and Tang Yen. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for him to be stuck in the middle in the future. Lin Yi, have you settled the things on your side? Tang Yen was very happy after receiving Lin Yi's call. She had been waiting in the ward. She wanted to call Lin Yi to ask if he could come back at night, but she was afraid that it would affect Lin Yi's work and make things difficult for him. So she didn't call. And it's done, Lin Yi said. I just left the inpatient department. Then, can you come back? Tang Yen hesitated and asked. Yao Yao said that she wants to treat you to a meal. Do you want to come? Lin Yi asked. Meng Yao? Treat me to a meal? Tang Yen was slightly stunned. She felt that it was a bit unbelievable. Why would Meng Yao treat her to a meal? Express your gratitude? Lin Yi said. Ah, gratitude? Tang Yen understood immediately that Meng Yao was thanking her for calling Lin Yi and asking him to treat Meng Yao's illness. However, Tang Yen was still a little hostile towards the miss. So she didn't want to go. I won't go, will I? It's not good, right? You don't want to come? Then forget it. Lin Yi also guessed what Tang Yen was thinking. She must still have some grudges with Mississippi. Meng Yao wanted to take the phone and talk to Tang Yen personally, but she couldn't lower her face. So she gave Yushu a look wanting her to say it for her. Yao Yao sis, look, Tang Yin doesn't dare to come, right? Yushu blinked her eyes and moved closer to Lin Yi's phone. Meng Yao was so angry that she started trembling. This Yushu was really pissing her off. She asked Yushu to invite Tang Yin for her, but she said this kind of thing? Wasn't this continuing to be Tang Yin's enemy? Tang Yin heard Yushu's words and panicked. Who said, I don't dare to come? I'll go now. Needless to say, Yushu's provocation worked. No matter what, Tang Yin had already made her decision. Let's meet at the parking lot in front of the hospital, Lin Yi said. Okay, I'll go now. Tang Yin didn't want Yushu to look down on her, as if she was afraid of them. After hanging up, Yushu cheered before Lin Yi could say anything. Yao Yao sis, I'm amazing, right? I tricked Tang Yin to come with just one sentence. You tricked her to come, but I wanted to thank you. How can I thank you like this? Meng Yao shook her head, helplessly. You can thank me when she comes. I just tricked her to come, Yushu said innocently. Meng Yao didn't want to argue with Yushu. It would only make her headache worse. She turned to Lin Yi. Did you drive a car? Shu's Beetle can barely fit 4 people, Lin Yi said. Oh, I'll sit in the back with Shu, Meng Yao nodded. Next time, drive the S5. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't dare to touch the Miss car before, but now it seemed that the Miss didn't care about this kind of thing at all. I want to sit in the front. I can point the way for Shield Bro. I know a super cool Western restaurant. Yushu didn't want to sit in the back. It was unknown if she did it on purpose, but Meng Yao and Tang Yin sat together. You can also point the way from the back, Meng Yao said. I am nearsighted. I can't see the back clearly, Yushu shook her head. Chapter 704. Chapter 704, Jealous. Oh, I'm fine now. I can see clearly again. Yushu waved her hands. Meng Yao glared at her. She'd been glaring at Yushu all day long, and her own eyes were starting to hurt. Lin Yi had long since gotten used to Meng Yao and Yushu's bickering. The two had always been like this, bickering, but their relationship was frighteningly good. Meng Yao pulled Yushu to the back seat. The Beetle wasn't big, but it was more than enough to fit 2 petite girls. Yushu was a little uncomfortable. It's so cramped. I want to sit in the front. Your boobs are too big, so it's cramped. Just cut them off. Meng Yao said, a little pissed off. Lin Yi wasn't in the car at the moment, leaning against the driver's door, waiting for Tang Yin. Meng Yao dared to say something like that, but Lin Yi's hearing was better than a normal person's, and he heard everything clearly. Yao Yao, you're jealous of me. Yushu covered her boobs as she looked at Meng Yao cautiously. Who cares? There's a lot of people with big boobs. It's not that rare anymore. Meng Yao curled her lips. That's true. The main wife and the second wife have their own specialties. It's not good to have the same. It's not attractive. Yushu nodded in agreement. Meng Yao didn't know how to respond to Yushu's words, so she kept quiet. Soon, Tang Yin walked out of the first ward and ran over to Lin Yi as soon as she saw him. Through the car window, Lin Yi could see that Tang Yin's body was well proportioned. Her boobs weren't too big, but they weren't too small either. Her legs were straight and long, and her height wasn't any lower than Meng Yao's. Her ponytail swayed in the car park under the light of the setting sun, giving off an indescribable feeling of youth. Meng Yao had to admit that Tang Yin was perfect, a typical pretty girl. It made her a little jealous. There's 2 of us. We won't lose to her, Yushu said, seeing Tang Yin's unwillingness to lose. Meng Yao was speechless. Was this a human wave tactic? A 3-team tactic? Wouldn't it be embarrassing even if they won? Besides, when was she going to marry Lin Yi? She just felt that he took good care of her. Tang Yin paused when she saw the Beetle behind Lin Yi. She had been in this car before, but it wasn't Lin Yi's car. It should be Meng Yao or Yushu's. Did you wait for a long time? I'm sorry. Tang Yin fixed the bangs in front of her forehead and apologized. She couldn't lose her composure in front of Meng Yao. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said that. It's fine, get in. Lin Yi opened the door for Tang Yin. Tang Yin saw Meng Yao and Yushu sitting at the back and felt a little embarrassed. I don't think it's appropriate for me to sit at the front. Oh, that's great. I want to sit in the front. Let's swap seats. Yushu was happy to see that Tang Yin was still unwilling to sit in front. Shoo, shut up. Meng Yao covered Yushu's mouth and glared at her before turning to Tang Yin. You're the guest. Of course you should sit in the front. In fact, Meng Yao thought the same. The car was small, and it wasn't appropriate for Tang Yin to sit in the back. Tang Yin was a little embarrassed when she heard that Yushu wanted to sit in the front, but it wasn't appropriate for her to sit next to the Mississippi. She was in a dilemma. Tang Yin, don't listen to Shu's nonsense. She's always like that, talking nonsense every day. You'll get to know her after spending some time with her. Meng Yao felt a little embarrassed when she saw that Tang Yin was in a dilemma. She did treat them to a meal to thank them, not to declare war. It was hard to say what would happen in the future, but she had to be more sincere today. Haha, okay. Tang Yin smiled, but in her heart she thought, how could they interact more in the future? The luxurious life that Meng Yao and Yushu lived was too far away from her. She still didn't have a place to buy her own house. Tang Yin got in the car, and Lin Yi followed. He started the car and asked, what do we want to eat? Where to? Listen to me. I know a super cool Western restaurant. Yushu said. Lin Yi saw that Meng Yao didn't object, so he nodded. Okay, turn left in front. Then turn right again. Go to the high road. Go to the upper bridge in the middle. Then go to the lower bridge on the right. Then Yushu started to give directions. It was more efficient than a navigation system. Lin Yi followed Yushu's directions and stopped the car in front of a restaurant called Super Cool Couple Western Restaurant. Lin Yi was speechless. The name of this restaurant was as shocking as the awesome Floating Cloud Bar. Were these two chain restaurants? Meng Yao looked at the big signboard and didn't know what to say. It was indeed super cool. But was this a couple restaurant? Didn't that mean that only couples would come here? What was with the four of them coming here? Wasn't this combination a little weird? Shoo, is this a couple restaurant? Should we go somewhere else? Meng Yao frowned when she saw that all the people coming in and out of the restaurant were couples. We're already here. Why don't we go somewhere else? I'm starving. Yushu shook her head and urged. Meng Yao had no choice but to let Lin Yi park the car and get out. The doorman who parked the car at the entrance of the Western restaurant thought it was a couple getting off the Beetle, but he didn't expect 4 people to get off. He suddenly felt a little strange. Excuse me, are you all here to eat? Of course. Why would we park the car here if we're not here to eat? It's not fun here. Yushu thought that the valet was an idiot asking stupid questions. Oh, please come in. The valet shook his head. It couldn't be 2 couples, could it? Was one of them a lesbian? He thought evilly as he invited Lin Yi's group into the restaurant. A waiter came to serve them. Good evening. The manager walked over and greeted politely. Give me a private room. Yushu looked at the layout curiously. She had read about this restaurant on the internet before. It was said that this was a heaven for lovers. Yushu wanted to see it, but she didn't have any lovers. She heard that this place didn't accept couples, so she gave up on the idea. But today was her chance. 1 room. The lobby manager was slightly startled. 1 room for the 4 of you. Yeah, Yushu nodded. Chapter 705. We are a couple. Yes, give us a couple's room. Yushu said. I'm sorry. The 4 of you can only get 2 private rooms. One private room is not allowed. The lobby manager was a little impatient. Are these people looking for trouble? Couples' rooms and seats were charged by the hour. Wouldn't it be a loss for the restaurant to have 4 people in a room? Who said we aren't a couple? Yushu wasn't willing. We are a couple. Huh. For people? All of them are couples? The manager didn't believe Yushu's words. He was certain that these 4 were here to cause trouble. But they must be blind to mess around in Lay Bro's place. Were they tired of living? Yeah, I'm Shield Bro's second wife. Yao Yao Sis is Shield Bro's first wife. She's Shield Bro's girlfriend. Why can't we go to the same room? Yushu explained impatiently. Hey, Baldy, why are you wasting time? We're here to spend money. Why are you being so nosy? The manager heard Yushu's words and felt disdainful. Wasn't this bullsh***? First wife, second wife, and a girlfriend? Did she think he was an idiot? Plus, this girl dared to call him Baldy? He was a bald man, okay? It was very popular in the underworld. Spending money? I think you're here to mess around? The manager's attitude turned cold. Let me give you a piece of advice. If you know what's good for you, leave. I don't care who sent you here. Tell him that Lay Bro's territory is not a place for others to mess around. Is there something wrong with you? What Lay Bro, Rain Bro, Lightning Bro? We're here to eat. Yushu thought that there must be something wrong with this Baldy's brain. The lobby manager sneered and said faintly, Our private room can only accommodate 2 people. If you're here to eat, I welcome you. Get 2 rooms. Shoo! Meng Yao frowned. She was a high and mighty existence. When had she ever been looked down upon like this? Especially today, they were here to invite Tang Yin. If they left just like that, what face would they have left? The problem was, if this restaurant really had such a rule, then so be it. Meng Yao saw 3 people enter a room with her own eyes. She stopped Shu and told the manager, I saw 3 people enter a room just now. Did I see it wrong? It's in that box. With that, Meng Yao pointed at room 101, which wasn't far behind the manager. The manager laughed at Meng Yao's words. So you're here to cause trouble. Brother Lay, someone is King here. The 4 of them insisted on a private room. The person in room 101 was the owner of this dazzling couple restaurant, Brother Lay. He had indeed brought 2 girls into room 101 because he was preparing to have 3 batches. He was the boss here. Naturally, he could do whatever he wanted. Brother Lay had just entered the private room and was ready to fight when he heard the manager's shout. He immediately frowned, pushed open the door of the private room, and walked out. He said arrogantly, What's going on? Fuck, who's King at this time? Do they want to die? Lin E understood what was going on from the sidelines. So this Lay Bro from room 101 was the owner of this Western restaurant. Meng Yao's example was useless. He was the boss, so it didn't matter how many people he brought. However, the restaurant's rule was that only couples could enter a room. This was one of the ways the restaurant made money. Otherwise, the restaurant wouldn't be able to make so much money if a large group of people went to a room. The interior design of this restaurant was very high-end. They were relying on the room fees to make money. Usually, couples would go to a room, eat, and drink red wine. In this romantic environment, it was inevitable that they would think about sex after they were full and do something they loved to do. This way, unless it was a quick shooter, it would take a long time. Naturally, they would earn money from the room fees. But if a large group of people went to a room, what else could happen? If they left after eating, how would the restaurant make money? The prices of the dishes here were basically mediocre and not profitable. What they relied on were some attractive decorations and atmosphere. Lin Yi knew these things just by looking at the price list at the door. So it was reasonable that the manager wasn't willing. Lin Yi couldn't be bothered with this. Although this restaurant's operation was a bit unorthodox, they were willing to operate it this way. The Industry and Commerce Bureau didn't find trouble with them. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't poke his nose into other people's business. Yao Yao Shu, let's go. Since this restaurant doesn't work, let's go to another one. Lin Yi didn't want to waste his breath here. He knew that Meng Yao was afraid of losing face, so he took the initiative to leave. Meng Yao heard Lin Yi's words and didn't insist anymore. After all, Lin Yi was the one who suggested leaving first. She didn't have to lose face. She nodded and said, "All right, let's go to another one." Seriously, you're crazy to not do business when there's a chance. Yushu wanted to see the room. She heard that there were sex toys for couples. Yushu was very curious, but it seemed like she couldn't do it today. Lei Bro was originally unhappy that he was interrupted when he was about to play with women. But when he saw Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin, his eyes almost popped out. No way. They were the best, and there were 3 of them at once. Brother, Lei had played with quite a number of women. He ran a Western restaurant and made a lot of money every day. Moreover, he had a cousin who was doing well, so he was rich and arrogant. Naturally, he threatened and tricked pretty girls, and got his hands on quite a number of them. But Lei Bro hadn't played with the 3 in front of him before. He had seen pretty girls like these 3, but they were all experienced men. They didn't look innocent at all. Lei Bro didn't have a good time playing with them, but the girls in front of him looked very innocent. They might even be virgins. Lei Bro wouldn't let them slip away in front of him. What's their background? Lei Bro whispered to Ma Bailin. 4 of them. They came in a beetle. The man is driving, Marbalin replied in a low voice. Chapter 706. Can't end well. Driving a beetle with 1 girl was considered flashy, but 3 was a little shabby. He might as well drive a hatchback. And these 3 girls were squeezed in the same car with him. They were obviously inexperienced. Who else would squeeze in a car like that? It's my honor that these 3 beauties are here to eat. Bailin, how can you shut them out? Lei Bro pretended to be angry as he scolded the manager. Ma Bailin paused and understood what Lei Bro meant. Lei Bro probably had his eyes on these 3 girls. These 3 girls were really pretty, but they were unlucky enough to come to Lei Bro's territory and act arrogantly. Wasn't that like sending sheep into a tiger's mouth? I'm sorry, Lei Bro. Ma Bailin quickly apologized. He purposely made himself look lowly to highlight Lei Bro's mighty image. 3 beauties, please come in. Bailin, hurry up and prepare a room. Lei Bro gave him a look. No need, we won't be eating here. Meng Yao felt uncomfortable under Lei Bro's perverted gaze. She pulled Yushu's hand and prepared to leave. Tang Yin didn't say anything. She didn't need to say anything with Lin Yi here. She knew that Lin Yi wouldn't let anyone bully her. Haha, since you're here, let's eat here. How about I personally toast and apologize to you guys later? Lei Bro looked at Meng Yao with a smile. If you guys are still breathing, I'll pay for everything you spend today, free of charge. Lei Bro wanted to keep Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin here. As for Lin Yi, he didn't care about him at all. He didn't think that Lin Yi had a deep relationship with these 3 girls. These 3 girls were obviously prostitutes, so Lei Bro guessed that Lin Yi was either a normal friend or a pervert like him, who had ulterior motives towards these 3 girls. Oh, if that's the case, Yaya sis, let's do it here. Yushu was tempted. She wanted to see the room in this Western restaurant. Are there any legendary sex toys inside? Meng Yao hesitated for a moment, but didn't insist after seeing how much Yushu wanted to stay. All right, but we'll pay for the meal and the room. I don't mind if you want to double it. Meng Yao didn't want to owe Lei Bro any favors, so she was willing to pay double the price. Don't you think it's a loss to have 4 people in a room? Then you can count it as double. Oh, that's great. Seeing that Meng Yao had agreed, Yushu pulled Meng Yao with her, eager to walk inside. Lin Yi and Tang Yin followed behind them. In front of Miss, Lin Yi was too embarrassed to hold Tang Yin's hand. Wait, you can't go in. Under Brother Lei's signal, Ma Bailan reached out and blocked Lin Yi from going in. Lin Yi frowned slightly. It seemed like Lei Bro and Ma Bailan had decided to make a big deal out of this. Lin Yi stopped, and so did Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yin. Why would they go if Lin Yi couldn't go in? Why don't you let him in? Meng Yao frowned as well. Are you going back on your words? Lin Yi wasn't a person who liked to bully others, but if someone bullied him, he wouldn't just ignore it. Chapter 707. I'm not ready to leave, but this Lei Bro who came out later obviously made things complicated. Lin Yi knew what he was thinking. He wanted to keep the three of them here because of their lust. Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't let him get away with it. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was that Yushu made a move first. Lei Bro was also shocked by the scene. He didn't expect a young girl like Yushu to be able to use such a vicious move. It was a direct hit, turning Ma Bailan into a prawn. Ma Bailan was probably in a lot of pain now. It was hard to say if he would ever be able to have sex again. Lei Bro's face darkened immediately. Good, very good. It's spicy, but I like it. Lei Bro looked at Yushu with a lustful desire to conquer her. Let's call it a day. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to do anything to you, and I won't come here again. What do you think? Lin Yi looked at Lei Bro and said faintly. His eyes looked like he was giving charity. In fact, in Lin Yi's eyes he was really nothing. Since Yushu had taught them a lesson, Lin Yi didn't want to mess with them anymore. They were supposed to celebrate today, and Lin Yi didn't want to spoil the mood because of these small fries. Wah. Lei Bro paused, then laughed out loud. He looked at Lin Yi as if he was looking at an idiot. Ma Bailan, who was crouching on the ground, couldn't help but laugh as well. It was a happy laugh, as if he had forgotten the pain in his body. Shield Bro, are they stupid? Yushu looked at Lei Bro and Ma Bailan oddly. How could people laugh so happily all of a sudden? Did he suffer some kind of shock? Shoo! Meng Yao signaled Yushu not to say anything at this time. Yushu's kick had made things complicated, and they didn't know if it would end well. Meng Yao didn't want to waste time with these people. She really wanted to treat Tang Yin to a meal. Oh, I got it! Yushu called out in sudden realization. They're so happy because Shield Bro said he'd let them go. They're so happy. Meng Yao, Lin Yi, and Tang Yin couldn't help but laugh at Yushu's words. However, Lin Yi and Meng Yao were already used to it. Tang Yin finally understood what Meng Yao meant in the car. This was Yushu's personality. She'd understand it after interacting with her more. She was indeed a very cheerful girl. She was always so happy and didn't feel nervous at all. Chick, your joke isn't funny. Brother Lei clapped his hands and said, Today none of you can leave. Just as Brother Lei was clapping, a group of men in black suits quickly ran over and surrounded Lin Yi and the other three. The leader, who had a scar on his face, turned to Brother Lei respectfully and said, Brother Lei, what do we do now? Beat the man until he's disabled and throw him out. Knock the woman out and keep her. Brother Lei's face showed a ruthless expression. His restaurant was wrecked. If word got out, he wouldn't be able to live in this world anymore. Oh, you called for help. Usually, the antagonist in the cartoon would do this after getting beaten up. But do you know the consequences? Yushu suddenly asked. The entire restaurant was filled with a tense atmosphere. However, after Yushu's words, everyone's face showed a strange expression. The atmosphere suddenly became less tense. Wasn't this chick scared? There are so many people standing here. How could she still have the mood to talk about such strange things? Chick, your chest is pretty big. I like it. Brother Lei looked at Yushu and licked his lips. I can tell you the consequences. You'll become my plaything. Brother Lei wasn't a fool, and he didn't dare to mess with just anyone. However, he had heard from Ma Bailin that the four of them came in a beetle. What background could they have? If there were only two people, he would have to think about it. But there were four of them. Other than the man, no one else had a car. Which rich kid didn't have a car? Besides, Brother Lei knew about the famous young masters in Songshan. He had never seen Lin Yi before, so he was unscrupulous. Bang! Yushu, on the other hand, kicked out abruptly while Lei Bro was talking, landing another kick on the knife-scarred man who was surrounding her. The knife-scarred man had turned his head to look at Lei Bro, and Yushu's kick caught him off guard. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets, and he cried out in pain as he squatted on the ground, clutching his chest. Oh! I kicked him again. These people are worse than sharks. They're so weak. Yushu cheered. Yao Yao sis, come and play. It's so fun. Brother Lei's face darkened. This was a provocation. Yushu still dared to hit his men in front of so many people. She didn't respect him at all. He laughed coldly. Don't waste time talking to them. Just go. If the woman resists, take her down too. Meng Yao looked at Yushu helplessly. She made things worse. Luckily, Lin Yi was here. They didn't have to worry about not being able to leave. Are you really not letting us go? Lin Yi looked at Brother Lei. Huh. Do you know who I am? No one has ever been able to walk out of my territory standing up. Brother Lei laughed arrogantly. All of you have to stay here today, especially that girl. I don't mind telling you that my cousin is Li Sihua. You should know your place. If you know what's good for you, serve me well. Even if you kneel and beg me, I'll consider letting you leave. Your cousin is Li Sihua. Lin Yi was surprised. No wonder their names were so cool. One was Sihua, and the other was Lei. One was Floating Cloud Bar, and the other was Western Restaurant. It was a perfect match. Now you know how to be afraid? Brother Lei enjoyed this feeling. Every time he mentioned his cousin's name, the people who came to him would be scared shitless. They would also give out their women for him to play with. This time Brother Lei thought the same. He wanted the three girls to take the initiative to serve him. There was no point in forcing them. Chapter 708. Not done yet. Since Li Delay was Sihua's cousin, Lin Yi planned to use him to test the doctor beside Sihua, the person who poisoned him. Lin Yi, be careful. Tang Yin saw Lin Yi walking towards the men in black and quickly reminded him. Tang Yin, you don't understand, Shield Bro. It's the bad guys who need to be careful. Yushu said to Tang Yin. Tang Yin pouted, wondering why she didn't understand Lin Yi at all. She knew him very well, okay? How could these thieves be a match for Lin Yi? Wasn't she just worried about him? I'm telling him to be careful. Don't hurt them. Tang Yin said, Oh, it's fine even if they're hurt. We're just defending ourselves. That Vixen Lingshan is very afraid of Shield Bro anyway. Yushu said nonchalantly. Li Delay's expression changed. He didn't expect these people to be so fearless in this situation. There were only two possibilities. First, they were ignorant and fearless. They were all idiots. The second possibility was that they had absolute confidence in leaving this place. Before, Li Delay thought that it was the first possibility and thought it was funny. But now Li Delay was leaning towards the second possibility. After hearing Sihua's name, not only was Lin Yi not afraid, but he even walked up to them and said that he wasn't leaving. Of course, this wasn't the main point. The main point was that Yushu mentioned Song Lingshan. She even dared to call Song Lingshan a vixen. Li Delay wasn't unfamiliar with Song Lingshan's name. She was the captain of the criminal investigation team in the city police station. How could people like them, who mingled in the underworld, not have heard of it? Could these people be related to Song Lingshan? Li Delay was nervous at the thought. He hesitated and decided to find out more about these people. Guys, you must have something to rely on if you dare to come here, right? Tell us. Don't ruin the Dragon King's temple. Lin Yi could naturally tell that Li Delay was compromising. He changed his mind after hearing Ling Shan's name. It didn't matter if Li Delay had a powerful background or not. Ling Shan could still deal with him. Of course, it would probably be very difficult to directly put him in prison, but if he came looking for trouble from time to time, it would be enough to make him suffer. How could someone like Li Delay not have any evidence? It was obviously impossible. However, Lin Yi didn't reply. His fate was sealed the moment Lin Yi found out about his relationship with Zihua. He was destined to be Lin Yi's test subject against Zihua, or the poisoner beside Master Bing. Since you guys don't want to tell me, then I can't do anything about it. I don't care if you guys have any background, but you have to give me an explanation for messing around in my Western restaurant. Take him down. Li Delay said indifferently. He wasn't afraid of anything. So what if he knew Ling Shan? If he didn't touch those girls, that would be the end of it. Beating that brat up could be considered as relieving his anger and getting back some face. Even if Ling Shan knew about it, she wouldn't do anything to him. At most, she would just compensate him with some money. The men in black looked at Lin Yi cautiously, but they weren't too afraid. After all, they had the absolute advantage in numbers. On Lin Yi's side, Lin Yi was the only one who could make a move. As for Yushu, they didn't put her in their eyes at all. She was just a sneak attack. She didn't have any combat ability. Their eyes were all on Lin Yi. The moment Lin Yi got close, they moved. They didn't let their guard down and attacked together. They were ready to take down Lin Yi in one go. They had lost all their face, and they wanted to get it back. But they had a good idea. They moved, and Lin Yi moved as well, but Lin Yi's speed was much faster than theirs. Before they could see what was going on, they felt a sharp pain in their necks, and their vision went black. They didn't know what happened after that. "Oh, Shield Bro, you're amazing. But can you leave one for me? I haven't had enough." Yushu screamed excitedly. "You're a little late." Lin Yi just knocked out the last man, and he was falling to the ground. However, Lin Yi pulled him back and gave him a massage before pushing him to Yushu. "But it's okay, I woke him up." "Oh." Yushu looked at Lin Yi with admiration. He was amazing. He could wake someone up after knocking them out. Yushu looked at the black-clothed man wobbling towards her eagerly, ready to make her move. The black-clothed man's face was filled with terror, but he didn't have the strength to fight back at all. Lin Yi's push sent him stumbling towards Yushu's direction, as if he was doing an inertial exercise. He didn't know what happened to him. Why couldn't he control himself? In fact, Lin Yi did something to him. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't have allowed such a dangerous person to get close to Yushu and the others. However, the man in black was like a puppet. He couldn't resist at all. Not only the man in black, but even Li Delay's eyes were filled with shock and fear. He was afraid that Lin Yi could knock out his men in an instant, but now he was afraid that Lin Yi could wake him up after knocking him out. However, what happened next was even more terrifying. Li Delay watched as his last man was kicked in the crotch by Yushu. His eyes rolled back, and he fainted on the ground while foaming at the mouth. Although the diners in the Western restaurant also heard the sound of fighting coming from the lobby. Who dared to come out at this time? They were afraid that they would be implicated, so they locked their doors tightly. As for those couples who passed by the Western restaurant and wanted to eat here, when they saw the situation in the lobby, they all turned around and left. Li Delay watched as Lin Yi approached him step by step. He was filled with fear. This person was indeed fearless. He had miscalculated. "Shield Bro, can I kick this one too?" Yushu was addicted to kicking people. She felt that kicking bad guys was an incomparably satisfying thing. Li Delay's face twitched. "Let you kick him? Wouldn't I die without descendants then? Bro, let's talk this out. Peace brings wealth." Li Delay was afraid that Lin Yi would push him to Yushu as well. Wouldn't he be dead then? He knew that he wasn't Lin Yi's opponent. None of his men could defeat Lin Yi, and he wasn't stronger than them. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.